Oh my god, look, he's open it.
All right, let's get into the podcast. We're already late. What I've been up to, I've gotten the T16000M FCS HOTAS flight control system. I unboxed it. I just put up a video 10 minutes ago of the actual review of it. I like it. There's some things that I don't like about it. It has a decent amount of buttons, but a lot of the buttons are only on the throttle. A lot of the buttons that are on the stick are not really usable in a HOTAS situation. So the T16000M was originally created to be a single stick. It's got a little throttle on it. It's got buttons that you use your left hand with. Now, those buttons aren't used in a HOTAS situation, right? Because you have your left hand on the throttle. So there's only 4 buttons on the thumb area of the stick, and like with the higher tier, I guess, HOTAS setups, it's not as good because you have so many more hats up there to play with and customize, along with all the customization that you get on the throttle. It's perfect for Star Citizen now, but it's not. I don't know if it's going to be. It makes me a little bit nervous for Star Citizen
in the
going
future?
forward. Yeah, in the future. What's that?
How much did it cost you?
That's the thing. It was $130 US, where the Warthog's around $400 price range. The X56 is in the $300 price range.
Would you say it is the best bang for buck for a high stick?
Yes, it's because there's entry level HOTASs that I don't know. I haven't used, so I don't want to comment on them. That are probably a little cheaper.
Most of them are awful.
I would assume most of them are awful. This one's really, really good for the price. Best bang for the buck. So I went with the negatives first, but there's really, really, really good positives. The X56 that I paid, well, I didn't pay anything for. Cytec sent it, but how much it costs is the base is really light and it moves a lot when you throttle up and down. Board, I think you had the same issue where it moved a little bit because the actual throttle portion is really stiff. So you pull
even at its most lax setting, it's really
yes.
stiff.
Even at its most lax setting, it's very, very stiff. Can I show a visual of it on? Yeah, I can try. So this is the throttle, and this is, I guess everyone's seen a T16000M. This is the throttle. The big difference is
T16000 has a separate throttle now.
Now, yeah, they just came out with the HOTAS. It just came out, like brand new.
It's on a rail as well, which is why it's so cool.
It's on rails. But do you see how it jerks back slowly?
Oh,
like
no!
It catches a little bit. That really only happens on the back coming back.
Are you sure that's not a molding problem?
It could be.
Because apparently lots of them had slight molding issues where you need to file a little bit down.
Maybe that's what I have to do here.
I'll link you a video.
Okay. No big deal. The base is really solid. You can see these metal pieces here. So they put in these heavy metal bases. So the base is solid and it doesn't move. It moves not at all on my desk.
Does it feel flimsy at all when you're pushing on it?
No.
Down it? Cool.
No. It's a solid build quality. The big difference is there's no buttons on the base. Like the other HOTASs have the buttons on the base. They chose to, instead of having just a PCB and plastic around it, they were like, all right, we're going to put this heavy metal there and it's going to stay down. One of the cool things also, it's got a rudder pedals on the throttle. So you don't need
foot
pedals.
pedals. Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
So it's really cool. And it's got a little joystick here that I use for strafe. And you can click the joystick in, a two-way switch. It's cool.
Is that analog or is that digital? Though?
This is analog. This is analog. And this is analog.
Nice.
This is analog, but it doesn't work well on Star Citizen. It either zooms all the way in on the backside or on the front side and all the way out on the backside. But it's analog if you look at it in Windows. So it is an analog, but it's just not functioning with Star Citizen well. Some things function well with some games and some don't, right?
I'm looking for a throttle to use with a mouse, and that's the one that's exciting me the most.
This is the one. I'm going to do a review on that next board. I'm going to try throttle and mouse after I play with this for another week. So the plan for me going forward is to reach out to Thrustmaster and ask for a Warthog, and then other companies and ask for them and do reviews and do dual sticks and do everything and try and see what I like the most and what I prefer and why and all that stuff.
Cool.
Yep. So somebody asked, did I try the HOTAS X for comparison? The only HOTASs that I've had so far are the X56 and the throttle, and the one that I just showed, the T16000M1. So that's it, and that's what I've been up to. Just playing Star Citizen. We did our big giveaway on Sunday, and that went really well. And yeah, I think that's really it. Some other stuff, definitely. I opened my loot crate this morning. It's fun. There's a really cool Titanfall 2 shirt.
Don't ruin it for me!
You're going to get it? You don't want to see it?
Ah, fuck! Don't show me!
Turn around. Are you turned around? Saurus, can you hear me? You're turned around? All right, fuck him. He's turned around. It's pretty cool.
Bang out fast Titan.
There you go.
It's all okay, Saurus. Saurus, it's okay.
You're good. Welcome back. I didn't know it was that,
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It is. I haven't got mine yet.
Not bad.
Showing loot crate shit. I haven't even unboxed it on my channel yet. Rude.
Not bad. Oh, I didn't even think of it that way.
He took
My
his
bad.
headphones off so he could even listen to the sound of the t-shirt. Didn't want to hear that sound.
Yeah. I just realized how stupid that was. My fault.
It's
That would
okay.
be like showing scenes of Squadron 42 on your channel before you've played it.
Yeah, or like if you're an evil
I
Putty
apologize.
playing like Star Marine.
I apologize. And
Well,
rubbing it in someone's face. I
yeah.
apologize. My bad.
Today is gonna be
Today,
a
it's
day.
something
I feel
about
it.
today. Even I fucked
feel
up.
it.
My bad, guys.
I feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're bound to have one of these, guys. We're gonna have a gong show one day.
It's just a fucking mess. It's okay.
It's a gong
It is
show.
what it is.
This is my favourite podcast we've ever done.
We can
just
get it
need to
back.
be
Do we want to get
drunk.
into Star Citizen? Oh wait, we got to see. What have you been up to, Saurus? Nothing. No big deal. Let's. No, I'm just kidding.
No, so last week, what did I do? Played a lot of Star Citizen. I did my Dungeons and Dragons on Saturday, which is always super fun.
I watched that
And-
for a little bit.
Did you? Did you like it?
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
I've never
there's-
played Dungeons and Dragons, so I don't really know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, I've never played it before
You guys
either.
are funny, so
But
it was fun to watch.
yeah, I'm gonna make it. I'm working on some things to make it even better and bring up the quality of it to where I want it to be. So there's some stuff there. Also, Captain Bailey. I want to give a huge shout out to Captain Bailey and Vinyl
Captain
Disorder.
Bailey.
Yeah, so he's one of my subs, and he's like, "Yo, I work for a vinyl company, and I can make some stickers for you if you want." He's like, "Those noodle emotes, if you want to make those into stickers, we can do that." I was like, "Oh, cool." Thinking, he's like, "Yeah, I'll send you a sample pack." Thinking he's just gonna send me one of each, and not knowing how big they're gonna be, and not knowing they're gonna be cut out or whatever. So I have these. I'm gonna show you guys in chat right now, but you can type in ! Noodles and see all the emotes. But we have my QQ emote. Some of them they're gonna green screen out a little bit. We have the dead one. We have the lewd one. We have the rainbow barf one. And the love one. And so what I'm going to be doing is I've added those to my level 3 on GameWisp. So if you are level 3 already, I need you to send me a message on Discord with your name and address. But if you become a level 3, it'll ask you for that information, and then I will get that out to you, and I'll ship those out, and a couple other Canadian goodies with it. But other than that, that's been pretty much it for me, other than having a slight aneurysm over today's podcast.
Don't stress out. Just chill. Are you planning on playing any Titanfall? Are you planning on trying anything? Any of the new games that have come out recently?
Not Titanfall.
It's very good.
Maybe. The thing is, I'm not buying keys for anything. So
yeah, I'm not. The big thing about Titanfall for me is it's that AAA price game, and I'm not sure how much time I'm gonna put into it.
Yeah, I'm not buying anything. So
I might wait till it goes on sale and then do the single player.
My priority right now is Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. But once again, if I can't get a key for free, I'm not going to play it.
Oh, I'm gonna get that game regardless. Now let me maybe try and convince you otherwise on that one, Saurus. The $60 or however it'll cost, probably 60, right?
It's 80 Canadian.
It's 80 Canadian. So
Mhm.
60 US. Like a $60 game is 80 Canadian always, right? Or do they do it differently?
It's always 60 and 80, but the translation
Okay.
isn't the same. So
Okay.
it's more
Well,
like 70 US for me. But yeah.
okay. So what do they charge? Like some weird fees or something for
No,
it?
no, no. It's a fixed price. So it's $79.99 and $59.99. So 59 is American, and it's always 70. Like whenever I say games are always $80, it's not $80 American. It's $80
80
Canadian,
Canadian.
regardless
Okay, cool.
of what the dollar is. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for an $80 Canadian game, I'd still think it might be worth it to you because of so many of the comparisons that people are making to Star Citizen.
Right.
That I think as a Star Citizen streamer that you should, that like for me personally, that's why I'm getting it.
Definitely,
I'm getting it because people are like
agree.
especially with the single player campaign, how they're comparing it to Squadron a little bit. There's a lot of that going on, so I'm trying to be like, okay, let's play it, and then when Squadron comes out, you can say, well, you know, I really like this about COD. I really didn't
I'm
like this
worried
about
that if
COD.
it sucks, I'm only going to play it once or twice, and I'm not going to play it again, and I'm not spending the money on it.
That's always the
my
risk.
perspective.
I'm getting.
Yeah.
Well, I've got Call of Duty Infinite Warfare and Titanfall 2 because I want to play through the single player campaigns. They're both on stream, and I want to be able to talk about it with knowledge when I compare it to Squadron 42.
Mm-hmm.
As a personal reviewer of it. That's basically what I want. And
Yeah.
there's going to be other games like Dual Universe and stuff like that that might be crap. They might be good, but I want to be able to play them and talk about them with knowledge.
From my personal perspective, comparisons are kind of bullshit anyways in the first place. And I don't really talk a lot about them on my channel.
Okay, I do a lot on mine,
yeah,
so it makes sense for me.
So it's more of I want to see if it's a game that I can play in addition to, not as in comparison to, because I really don't. I give two fucks about what games compare to Star Citizen and what ones don't. I like Star Citizen for liking Star Citizen. I don't like Star Citizen because it's like the best parts of Elite and No Man's Sky and whatever. It's like I like it for what it is.
Sorry, can you name the best parts of No Man's Sky? Was it getting a refund?
Getting my money back immediately.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't refund that game.
It's because you're a scholar and a gent. That's why, Twerk. You're too nice.
I regret it now.
You
like,
probably
now that
still could.
I probably might try because like he's fallen off the face of the earth, and like I just feel like
You went,
that's
you,
the part
Sony,
that I
it was
don't
them,
like.
and then
Like
dodged.
say like whatever, the game came out, it wasn't great. Like fuck it, I wasn't gonna refund for that. But the way since then, what's happened, and like yeah, just all this stuff that's happened recently with their Reddit and their Twitter and stuff. Like I'm done. That game's never gonna be good. So even if they like completely rehauled it and put like a huge patch out and made it better, it just would never be good. So
that said, people that buy it now, knowing that, at least they're not going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
That's what it was for me. It was the disappointment. Anyway, we're going back to No Man's Sky. No, bad.
Yeah,
No Man's
never.
Sky.
Bad idea. Bad idea. You want to talk about Star Citizen, the actual like pretty good game? The
pretty okay alpha.
The pretty okay alpha. Yeah.
Pretty okay alpha.
Yeah.
We could talk about some news.
Some of that is around.
So yeah, we're gonna start off slightly negative again. We're gonna kind of start off with the topic that we had last week, which was about them continuing to use CitizenCon content, and they did it again this week.
Yep.
Now, I was gonna. So we can't bring up those articles, right, Soros?
I can't bring anything
not the.
up. I
can't bring anything
video,
up.
Nothing.
Okay, so I will probably read them off myself, but okay. So we saw a lot of procedural planets, right? Now,
yeah.
Procedural planets we've seen for, if you count CitizenCon, I think it's 4 weeks in a row. That because it was the highlight of CitizenCon, right? It's the highlight of the last 3 ATVs. My issue with that, and I think you would all agree, is that it's too much. But let's go ahead. I think a lot of the community has agreed as well. So let's go ahead and look at what Lando said.
We are drowning somewhat in the CitizenCon demo. Like, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
We're drowning in chocolate, but we're still drowning. Like, there's just too much. There's just.
I think that they don't want to show anything else. I'm not saying they don't have anything else to show. I think that
That's what they're saying, though.
Yeah.
They're like, listen, they can say whatever they want. I'm not saying that this goes a liar.
We know.
But...
Okay, how about this? We know that they're doing internal playtests of StarMarine. We haven't seen those maps yet. We haven't seen the new armor sets, the new weapons, any of that stuff. So
I feel like you can show that stuff.
Yeah, they could show that.
Maybe we don't know though. So the first thing is, and this you started this cry, I think, Saurus, is they were like somebody said we need to see a blocker list for 2.6 and 3.0.
Yep.
You just got to tell us. And so that's not a call that Disco can make. So he said we've passed that in. Well, I'm assuming this is not a call that Disco can make because of what he said. We've passed that info along to the relevant parties. So I don't know if the relevant parties are the devs and Disco's made the call, and it's to devs to give them the blocker list, or if it's like, Disco's
hey,
bosses, like Chris or Sandy,
like, hey,
or
the community wants a blockers list.
Yeah, and then they say yes or no. So we'll see. Hopefully that starts happening. We asked about that last week. They asked about TNGS. That's not a big deal. Design briefs on mechanics they asked for, and he mentioned that they gave a whole list of 3.1, 3.2, 3.4, and there's design features that go along with those. When those get closer, we'll see those design briefs. Mm-hmm. They also asked about the 10 for the Chairman show, and how that's not going to be a monthly, weekly thing. It's when it happens kind of thing.
I think it's going to be more of a town hall type event.
Yeah, and that's fine. When there's something special to talk about, have a bunch of people there, you can talk about it. Cool, right? And then they asked, why do we have so few community management and dev posts for a few weeks? Like, even the devs aren't posting. It's because they're busy. So he says that. Then, I guess, is there anything you guys want to add to that, if you want, before I get to the next one? It was pretty self-explanatory. I think.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. For those of you who don't know what TNGSM is, Next Great Star Marine, just like they did the Next Great Starship. Everybody knows that they're waiting for that. I think we're going to see Star Marine first before they even start on that. They're saying...
I think it makes sense to see Star Marine first, right?
This is the thing, is they're saying that, and I believe that the new shows are taking a lot of resources, but they've also nixed a lot of shows, right? Like 10 for the Chairman. And there was another one, I think, that they got rid of as well. And so it's like, I get it that those two shows are a lot of work and they look good and they're great and whatever. But I don't know. The thing is because I don't really know how much work it is.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard for us to sit here on our high horse and say anything.
Right,
like
but they were doing a 10 for the Chairman before, and now it's like, oh, we haven't been able to post anything because we've been so busy. And I think for the devs, that's a valid excuse, but I think for the community management, that's not a valid excuse. I think for the community management, now I know that they wear more than one hat.
Way more than one.
And maybe they should hire specific community managers then. But, we just, like I said, we've said this before, when was the last time we saw community management? For me, it was
getting pretty big now.
It was at CitizenCon,
No, they've been in our podcast almost every week. I see Tyler.
Okay. Maybe I haven't been paying attention then.
Yeah.
But
no, I see Tyler almost every week. You don't during the podcast. You don't look at the chat very much.
I don't
right?
look at chat during the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm too busy. But
I think some of this is compounded with a lack of information because of one of the reasons, a lack of the monthly report last month. Now we got a new monthly report coming next week.
Yes, that was also mentioned. So we're going to get a monthly report.
Possibly sooner.
Oh, that would be great if it's sooner. That would be good, because hopefully there we can disseminate some blockers and some other bits and bobs ourselves. Right. It won't just be about Citizen.
Star Marine might even be a section, for the monthly report. And then it's just like, this is where we're at. This is what it looks like, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But the big thing that people talked about was that, there were some complaints on the forums, not just from us. And it was about the procedural planets. And as in considering like things from the past. And Disco's argument was that procedural planets are not in the past; they're what's coming in the future. So they're showing new stuff. But my argument against that is this week's ATV was actually fucking amazing. Did you guys watch it?
Yeah,
It was absolutely
weather and rotation.
It was one of the best.
You mean last week's ATV?
This past week's ATV was one of the coolest ATVs I've seen so far.
I don't remember what was in it.
Oh my god!
You know why you don't?
Dude.
You're very similar.
The same thing that we've been seeing.
Exactly, Saurus. So you right away saw procedural planets.
Yeah.
And like most of the backers, were like, oh, again. So that took away from really, really, really hard work from the devs in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
And they showed something really amazing. And if we didn't see procedural planets for the last 4 weeks, we would have been really excited about what we saw.
Yeah,
they showed a planet rotating super fucking fast, and you would never have noticed
the
that
lighting,
it was rotating.
And they moved the sun around and shit.
No,
not just that.
Yeah, it was rotating, and the ships and stuff were rotating with it. Or the
planet was moving, and then you landed on a platform, and then you noticed that it was rotating.
Didn't move. The platform stayed still while the planet was rotating. Yeah.
And the planet was rotating really fast, and you would have never noticed how fast it was. So it looked natural. It looked like real life, and then it's still able to rotate at a proper rotation speed for a planet.
Light penetration from the sun through the clouds.
Yeah.
Through the real clouds and the weather systems that then fall onto the ground. And they were showing that the weather storm, the actual weather system that they're going to happen, they were talking about. I think it's insane because they are going for a full simulation system for pretty much everything now.
Yeah. So I don't want to get into it too much because we're going to talk about it maybe a bit more in detail later.
Okay.
But they showed fantastic things on that episode, and I think a lot of the community didn't appreciate it because of the fact that it was procedural planets for a 4th week in a row.
Yeah. CitizenCon blindness. You literally saw it's the same thing.
Yeah. So even for me, it would have been there has to have been something that they can show. There has to be something. And Saurus, you've mentioned the FPS maps. If they're playing them, you can show them work in progress. But to be honest, do you want to see the FPS map before you can play it, Saurus? Do you think that that's something that's okay? I don't really, because I don't want to start
they're at least
thinking of how to play.
Talking about it.
Yeah. And I think you can do stuff like give little hints. You can do a section
I'm okay with seeing the map beforehand.
I'm not necessarily, because I don't want to know where to go and where to hide. The first time
you're gonna know within the first 5 minutes, anyways.
But I want that first 5 minutes.
I guess.
I don't give no shits about spoilers. I personally don't care, but I try and avoid them where I can at early stages on my channel.
Yeah.
Because I know other people do care about them.
Yep. So for me, there's the thing is there just has to have been something that they could have shown. Now this past week they were in Germany. This was the episode they should have had. This was the perfect episode. This was what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
The previous couple weeks, they would have they just had to have figured out something else.
The thing is, they may not have had anything else because of CitizenCon.
Yes.
Right?
So now that comes down to
But
this is going to happen again.
They're saying that what's happening though is they're staying steadfast with the rotation that they were having, when maybe they shouldn't have done that. Maybe they should have done Germany 2 weeks in a row.
Maybe.
Right.
Or yeah, but at the same time, if they did Germany 2 weeks in a row, we still would have seen the same content 2 weeks in a row, probably, right?
Right, but we've been seeing it for 3 weeks or 4 weeks in a row now, is what I'm saying.
But that's unacceptable.
Now we're in Germany. Yeah, because now they're in Germany, and that's what Germany's working on, so that's what they're going to show. So it makes sense. Maybe they do have other stuff from Austin, but because they're sticking to that schedule, I don't know, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just of the thing. Like, here's where a lot of the things that we like to do here is give positive or
critique.
Give good good feedback, like positive feedback, but not necessarily. What's the right word? Constructive criticism. Yeah. So my constructive criticism would be next year, if we're going to continue this ATV show more than tell situation. It doesn't even have to be about the rotating around the offices,
Yeah.
Around Gamescom and around CitizenCon. I understand the week after doing the behind the scenes of those episodes. That's totally cool. Totally makes sense. But you need to plan in advance what you're going to show to the community after. You need to have something on the table because, again, there is no advertising for this game. They're not advertising in magazines. It's not time for that yet. So the way to keep the hype up and the way to keep people excited is really through ATV, right? That is their thing right now. That is what keeps the hype going the way it is. It's ATV, which keeps their community hyped enough, and then a patch to come out, and then everybody goes and plays that patch, and hype is super high, right? But
super hype, woo!
They just have to make sure that in big situations like CitizenCon, for next time, that they just, because Ben was on Batgirl's show, and they talked a bit about how it's a scheduling issue sometimes where because of the patching system that they have, where they don't have to put anything out until they're ready to put it out. Sometimes showing before and like being able to show stuff isn't as easy because, you know, patch 2. Basically it sounded like what he said to me was patch 2.6 isn't ready to be shown yet.
Yeah.
So
I don't think
they really like to see it and they'd really like to show it, but they're not comfortable showing it yet.
And like I get, for example, when a ship's getting ready for concept or whatever, but you can't expect ships to hype people up anymore. I think that
but you can dedicate an episode to ships.
You can dedicate.
You absolutely can do that once a month.
Once a while, yeah. But I don't think like because they've been showing so much of the procedural generation stuff, and then it's like, oh hey, we have the Tavaran is coming out. Like you can't. I think that they would sell more ships, which obviously they would like to do, if they showed more than just the same thing every week, right? And I think that's what's making it feel longer too, is because we keep seeing the same shit over and over again.
There's
nothing to get excited about.
Exactly. We already know that we're looking forward to procedural planets.
Yeah.
We're already pumped about them. We're so like I do not want to take away from.
But the thing is we know how far out that is though too. We don't even have this next patch, let alone the patch after that, and we are expecting that patch to take even longer. So it's like it's just like, oh, this is it's like here, this is what we have coming.
Yep.
But you're not going to get it for who knows how long because we don't even have this patch out yet.
Yeah. And for me, I just think they need to plan a little bit better for that. But I want to kind of get off this subject now. I think we've said what we needed to say. And, give some constructive criticism. Just if you're going to have a big event where it's going to, like a CitizenCon in particular, if you're going to have a huge event where you literally show everything, just make sure that you have some cool things lined up down the road a little bit.
Yeah.
Like get some guys working on something cool for you to show, because again, this is your only form of advertising right now. So you gotta make sure you keep up on it. And everybody's learning how to do this open development thing. This is the first time any game was ever made like this, right? So every month, every day, they're further along into it. It's a new experience.
Mm-hmm.
So they've hit a point right where the actual video game that we've been waiting to play is right at the tip of our fingers, right? Along with Star Marine and 3.0.
Yeah.
3.0 really makes it a video game that we the procedural universe that we've been waiting for, and Star Marine's a piece of gameplay that we've been waiting for too, and it's right there, but they got to make sure that they keep us hyped up and everything, because that's part of their project continuing to succeed, is the community staying excited and positive, right?
They don't need to necessarily keep us hyped up, but not disappointed and not fed stuff that looks the same. And that's what it is. It's stuff that looks the same,
mm-hmm.
as you correctly identified. Because the ATV was amazing.
It was brand new cool stuff that we haven't seen.
Yeah,
but it was the same planet.
Even if they put it on different planet and it looked different biomes, that would have been enough for people to look at it and go, this isn't the same stuff.
Oh, yeah, that would have been fantastic.
So, CIG need to be careful with that, making stuff look the same, because people sometimes expect to be disappointed as much as they expect to be hyped.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, I think it's just it's just a case of that. But obviously, we start to need to have blockers lists. We need to start to have schedules that they keep to if they're going to have a schedule, and they might as well be more open with those timings. With those, well, it's not going to be ready this week. It's not going to be ready for a few weeks.
I think they saw the reaction to when they did the post Citizen Con, why they couldn't show Squadron 42, right? And I think that the community embraced that and was like, "Thank you for showing us this. This means
exactly.
this relieves you of us freaking out on you." And it's like
we don't mind. Yeah, we don't mind them taking a long time.
Yeah, we don't mind. It's cool. Just let us see it.
We do care, but we're good.
No, let us see why it's not happening. Because look, as much as the good stuff, we want to see the bad stuff as well.
Yeah, like look at a situation.
Of the development.
Yeah, look at a situation where they showed the scanning. I think the overall feedback on that was people didn't like that golf swing mechanic, right? They weren't all that happy about it. But
I do feel that people overreacted to that because it was literally this is a placeholder mechanic, maybe.
Yes, and that's why they don't show stuff, because people overreact to shit like that. And that's why it's become, we're not ready to show it yet. And that's why you need to like look at things. If they say it's a placeholder, say, okay, give your feedback. But the thing how I feel about that, I don't consider it much of an overreaction. People didn't like the idea of the golf swing mechanic, so they gave their feedback. As long as they were constructive and positive and not a fucking dick, I think CIG should be more...
And it's irrelevant. You're
showing
things
get
in
some that
people
state.
that are going to be dicks.
Of course, right?
I think they need a professional dick on staff. Literally, record ATV and RTV a day earlier, or ATV a day earlier, and have them look at it and try and find things wrong with it that people are going to get angry about. Yeah, I know. I'd be great at it.
You're the perfect
candidate
for professional dick.
I found my calling.
Yeah, no, but it's cool. I think they can do. I think they're going to learn their lessons as we move on through this, and I hope they learn from this one, because this is actually the reason that I think it's a worse situation than when we were just playing Arena Commander and the missiles were broken and stuff like that, is because we're so close to something really special, right? And to not show us bits of that something special, is it's really hard.
Though. Yeah, we want it. It's so close.
Yeah, it's really hard to watch. Like we know that there's going to be some cargo stuff, right? Like, are they done with that? Like, show us a bit of the UI for buying and selling, maybe work in progresses of that. Like, there's all sorts of little things that they can go around and maybe show us pictures of.
Show me the Cutlass Black.
Well, listen, I think that's something that we might see this week. I don't know what Josh Coons is working on, but I'm assuming that it is the Cutlass. So we're going to Austin this week. Yeah. Maybe we're going to see a little bit of that. That will be really cool, right? So I hope they learn that 4 weeks in a row of the same looking content, as you said, Board, which was a great way of saying it. It can't be done. Because this is what happens.
At a glance, your mind just goes blank.
I think I'm fine. I'm comfortable. I'm okay with everything. I can deal with it. But the community as a whole, I mean, they're clear. They're showing how they feel right now, and they're not very happy. So we can't. There's no way, shape, or form that we can show the next thing on StreamSource.
No,
it's impossible. It's just
okay. Yeah. It's just the way that I have it all working right now. It's all just one. I had to capture it differently, so.
And you can't add. There's no way you can add your capture card on.
Can't you bring it in?
I can, but then it shows everything, like stuff I don't want to show.
Okay, fair enough.
That's why.
So we'll skip by this one. I'll put the link in the chat later. There were some cool things in ATV that were said really early on in the show. So I'm going to skip down to ATV and RTV interesting points.
Yep.
And they're putting new missions in. So no more of this, like, the same missions that we've been doing in Crusader forever, over and over again. We're going to get a couple more. I think they said a couple or two. I can't remember.
A couple more, but depending on what they are going to be or how long they are or whatever. They could be very similar to what we have.
Yeah, and I think one of them might be what Luke Presley was talking about a while ago in my channel. He popped in and said, do you guys like when we don't tell you about something new in a patch and you just kind of find it. And we said, yeah. And he's like, all right, I think I'm putting in an Easter egg. And then that Easter egg turned into a whole mission. So I don't exactly know what that means or what anything will be, but hopefully it's like a long kind of go here, do this, go here, do that type of mission. It sounds like it might be. That's actually pretty cool.
There are some simple little tiny bits and bobs they could put in for missions or things that would increase gameplay loads, like what they did with Korea with the wine bottles, the alcohol bottles that was done on basically on Saurus's channel. It's if they have rare loot in some of the salvage places, they have randomly spawning rare loot. People will be out salvaging those little green zones. People will start going to and fighting over. It's just little things like that I don't think are that hard to do. They could also be added. Sorry, carry on. So I smash the flow with a hammer.
No, the flow's fine. The music logic system they said is about done, and we saw the previews of that, and that was really, really cool. I wish we can show this on stream. What I'm looking at now, but
you can post it in chat.
I'm gonna post it in chat. I'll let I'll post it in chat.
Post it in chat.
There might have been like Zeus just whispered me and said Prowler leak ? There's a random ship that's in this image with Chris and Sandy. It's very small and you have to look really close at it. But it's definitely a ship that I've never seen before. So
isn't that the Idris?
Couldn't it just be an Idris at a different angle?
Maybe.
That could be the Idris.
Is that even a ship?
I don't know.
I don't know what that is.
But people are curious what that might be.
I don't know. I think people are looking into that way too much.
Because it's Star System.
It just looks like it's.
It shows you how bad we need new content, right?
Yeah.
There you go. Because we would even look at a picture on stream that you guys can't see, and that, So that's what this. We're going crazy here.
Now you look like an egg. No, keep going, doing what you're doing. Dip down a little bit more. You're good.
Yeah.
There you go.
People are saying it's a Bengal, probably. I was thinking it probably is
either a capital ship or something. Yeah, I don't think it's a Prowler.
Yeah, I don't think so either. They quickly mentioned the item pickup system, and then kind of loosely mentioned Pirate Swarm as well. So those might have be in and be testing. We've known about that stuff for a while.
They said that they wanted to bring that stuff in with 2.5 a while ago as well.
Yeah,
they wanted to bring in Pirate Swarm, and they wanted to do the pickups and stuff for Arena
Matt
Commander.
Sherman confirms it's a Bengal, by the way. There you go.
There you go.
Thanks, Matt Sherman. You're the best, Matt Sherman. Woo!
Yeah. So, and then somebody asked a question. Will procedural planets, this was on RTV, will procedural generation be used on giant city planets like ArcCorp? And the answer was that last week. This week they started prototyping ArcCorp. So right away, I put in the thing, so how far out is 3.0?
Yeah.
Right? If we're going to be landing on that, and they're just prototyping ArcCorp now, so it's going to be a while, guys. So we're going to that right there tells you just start your patience now, because it's going to be a while. It's hopefully going to be really awesome when it comes out, but it's going to be a while. Or we get 3.0 where we can't land on those planets yet, and then eventually they put it in something like 3.0.1, right?
Yeah.
But the answer was no, sort of no, because he's the gentleman, I can't remember his name, said if they use procedural generation like they do on the planets that they have now, it's more for terrain, so it won't be as angular and perfect as a building is, so it just won't look right. So
procedural generation really is just used to create the spheres for the first process of their planet generation. They generate a planet procedurally. They put all the data of what biomes they want, what type of planet is, where it is, all that sort of data. That generates the sphere, and then they start to edit it by hand as well. Now, a lot of the tools they use are quite large tools, like many kilometers in width.
Like
and those
stuff for biomes.
But that's still not procedural. Then it's handcrafted, effectively.
But those actual features in there are procedural, right?
Yes.
Like a mountain would be procedural.
The starting features are, yes.
And then they can play around and raise and lower.
The brushes would be as well.
Yes, yeah.
Some
of the brushes and stuff would be. It's only when they're actually physically placing stuff, I suppose, that it's technically not procedural. But
yeah,
we use the term procedurally wrongly. That's what it is.
Okay, so then what he said was all the objects that are placed all over the planets, those are done by like this scatter thing, and they're procedurally scattered.
Are you talking about distribution maps?
No, like any little object that would be placed on a planet would be procedurally scattered across the planet. So if you wanted to place in a building, like a smaller building or whatever, it would be put there. If you wanted to place in a broken down cutlass, that might be procedurally scattered somewhere on the planet. The asset is put in, but then it gets scattered somewhere. Is kind of how he said it. I'm not sure if I'm getting that right, but objects are procedurally scattered around the planets. And what he was thinking about doing was taking those massive objects and trying to use that procedural scattering.
Procedural assistance.
To assist the building a whole planet full of buildings, and then the designers can go in and paint where the actual players would be in. And I had a conversation with Brian Chambers about this because ArcCorp has been my concern since hearing that we would be landing on all the planets in 3.0. Mm-hmm. And I said, I don't want to put you in a bad spot, but I'm going to ask you these questions. So I asked them basically the same question. And I said, are you guys going to take out some of the buildings? Is there going to be terrain in between? Because it kind of came with the question of landing on the planets from last week, where we're only going to be brought into certain landing locations, right? So I asked them, what are you guys doing? What's the plan here? And the plan is to still have a full planet covered with buildings, and it'll be a lot of it will be procedurally done in some way, and then we're going to have our locations where the designers decide us. Like we're going to have points of interest basically, and there's going to be gameplay areas of where we can go, and there's going to be. It sounds to me, and I'm not going to put words in his mouth, but in situations like that, there are going to be some walls. There's player areas, and there might not be player areas. We are going to be able to completely fly around that planet and land wherever we want. Mm-hmm. But there's going to be player areas in the sense that there's really nothing to do here, dude. But if you want to land here, you're going to be able to find some breaks in the buildings and land in those places. And I thought that was really cool. But there's really no point in doing it. You can't go in the building.
I don't
can't do anything there.
I don't mind them restricting certain areas, but for within law means as well, and buildings and stuff. As long as there's no invisible walls, I don't care.
Yeah,
it's invisible walls that I hate.
Yeah, I think when you're on foot, you're not going to be able to go on foot and travel around.
What if they did something like similar to how we see the landing zones and stuff like that? You know, you see the square light up blue or red or whatever. If they did no fly zones.
Yeah, they talked about that as well.
They are technically invisible walls, but as soon as you cross them, you get shot down by turrets or something.
Yeah, so in this one, so basically there's flight corridors. So if you go across out of your flight corridor, your systems get taken over, and
it tells you, and it shows up in your HUD that over here is a no-fly zone. And you go and fly over there, and your systems get taken over.
And that allows them to do massive city planets with low levels of detail at distance, because you can't physically fly over there.
But the one thing that interested me, and I wonder how it's going to work, is that we will kind of be able to land wherever we want. In some, obviously you can't land on top of a building, but you can land around.
But there's going to be breaks. Say like an M50, would you be able to?
The way he made it seem is we will be able to fly around the atmosphere of ArcCorp, and there's going to be some places for us to land that aren't Area 18.
Okay.
That's what he made it sound like, because that was a concern of mine. Are we only going to Area 18? Are we stuck to just that corridor? I think you're stuck to that corridor board if you decide to say landing mode, I want to request landing and place my ship in a hangar, and I want to go to Area 18. Okay, well, this is how you get there.
I don't think we're going to be able to fly over Area 18 freely.
No,
close to it.
I think you're probably right about that. And the police will come out and you get pulled in. But there are places where you will be able to freely go, is what it sounds like. And that's actually, and that's actually really great news, I think. Is that they're not settling with that, right? Because they could have settled and say, fuck it. You can only go here. This is how it's going to be. So it's kind of cool.
It'd be great if you go to like a Banu world and you go there, you explore their city or whatever, and there's missions there on the other side of the planet that they say, there's this architectural site or there's an alien site or there's cool stuff and it's dangerous on the other side of the planet. Then you could have whole hundreds of hours of gameplay on a single planet. That's my dream for Star Citizen, that we can just literally be locked on one planet and someone can get all their gameplay there.
And just remember, I'm taking a conversation that I had with Brian Chambers with a 30-second delay through a Twitch chat where I might have misunderstood some of the things he said. I may not have. It was all in the open for us to see. We all got pretty excited about what he said. It was cool. And a lot of people are asking about Earth and how that would work. We asked him. They're not there yet. It's just not one of those planets that they're doing right now or thinking about at the moment. But I'm sure it'll be pretty cool when they do decide to do it. But yeah, it's I might be completely misconstruing everything. So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. I'm pretty excited about the way they decided to go about it. And I think I want to leave it at that because I'm not a developer. Source is not a developer. BoredGamer is not a developer. We have to go through this every week. We don't work at the company. We don't make the game. We take what the devs say and get excited about it or give constructive criticism about it.
Is there any way that we can become developers for something and then we can say we are game developers?
And then we are game developers?
Yeah, I mean...
I just sort of have to say that in conversation.
Let's invent a card game.
Oh, shit, yeah.
We're game developers, dude.
Oh my god, okay, yeah, we'll sort that out after the podcast.
All right, it's called 1, 2, 3 shoot. And there's a rock and a paper and a scissor.
No, I don't think we should...
Scissor.
I don't think we should have scissors. I think we should have starfarers or dynamite. We're developing. We're developing. Process.
You're a designer. I'm the artist. It's perfect. All right. So now we're game developers. So we're good. Cool. So now we can tell you everything about Star Citizen and how it works. No, but more cool stuff that they showed, and this is pretty much kind of the end of the doc because we did talk about it a bit. Is they one of the cool things that I really loved about ATV is they actually showed the timeline of the procedural generated planets, right? And they showed the really work in progress stuff that they weren't comfortable showing us during the development of it. They showed the very first one, the very first time a person walked on the moon, which we did see that, right? When they did show us that one at some point. And then they showed us the textures getting better and better and better over time. That was really cool. But again, seeing the procedural generated stuff, it took away from that a little bit.
I think what should happen is that CIG need to go balls deep and literally go Star Citizen, warts and all, and just go, we're going to show some of the stuff that we don't think should be shown yet.
Yeah, if you don't want us to play it yet, fine.
That's fine.
But what's wrong with getting feedback from the community even earlier?
You're going to get trolled. You're going to get trolled whatever you do. If you have the best game, you're still going to get people going, lol.
Well, yeah, and at this point, no matter what they do, the same people are the ones that are crying about everything that they do anyway, right?
I'm part of the development process. What I enjoy about it is that it's warts and all. I want to see all the bugs. I want to be part of that bug development process. I want to leave my mark on the game, and I want to see the full development, including the crap, including the total failures, because that makes the triumph even better.
That's fine, but that's you. Do you think that everybody?
I don't know. I can't speak for anyone other than me, really.
Of course, but I wonder if your view on things differs from a majority of the backers that watch ATV.
You might be right.
Right? Because there's a large portion of the actual backers of the game. They bought the game and they're put it on the shelf and are waiting for it to come out. Right? They backed it and they're just chilling, waiting. There's 1.5 million people registered on the website. How many people are actually playing the game right now? How many people are watching ATV?
That's definitely a thing for Squadron 42. I can imagine buying Squadron 42 and saying, I'll play it when this is ready. But they're not participating with Star Citizen much. Because you don't have much of a say over Squadron 42 in the open development of Star Citizen. But with Star Citizen, I mean, I want to be involved with everything. I want to see everything. But that's because I'm greedy for information. I am.
I'm just like you, Bored. I agree. I want to see everything. I want to try it. It doesn't like. Listen, you and I are both in Evocati, right? We know that sometimes it's tough. You could say you're in Evocati. So obviously, sometimes the patches are really, really tough to deal with. It's not for the faint of heart.
No, it's not for the faint of heart. And yes, and that's why they don't release them to everyone, because some people are almost immature about the wants and needs of patches. Like, they'd be like, this is shit.
And that's why they don't show that stuff. Because they don't want. Because what happens then is negative press on PC Gamer's articles every time they put a patch out, and it's just a total mess. Is that bad for them, or is that good for them?
But I don't think, as long as, because all the patches shouldn't be a mess, but the PTU patches, they should be a mess. That's the point of them.
Yeah. I agree.
It's just,
I agree.
I think that obviously companies and big press is always going to spin stories for whatever they want to push their agenda for. Now that is literally could just be whoever's writing them might be a Star Citizen or Space fan, or they might not. They might be really critical, and that might be their thing. And you're going to get that whatever you do. I just want open development to mean we get to see the shit too, and we man up and we see it. And
that's why I always go back to that scanning thing. People weren't happy with it. But they were able to give their feedback on a design element that is really early in the process of being designed. And then that designer gets to say, oh, wow, well, these guys really didn't like this. Yeah. You know, maybe like, personally, I liked it. I like the idea of it, whatever. But that doesn't matter. He gets to hear the feedback from a majority of the community, or, unfortunately, the loudest ones. And Matt Sherman said something about what we're talking about, so I'm going to save it and we'll talk about it in a second. But I always go back to that because I thought the community was like, you know what, I don't like this. Maybe they can do it a different way. And I'm sure a lot of people gave their feedback on some ways to do it. But overall, seeing that in its super early state where there was no animation, there was no nothing, all you saw was text on screen and how it was functioning behind the scenes. Why aren't we seeing that for other mechanics that are in development? What's so, like, why not? I feel like maybe they aren't in development right now. I don't know. But what I saw there, I would like to see more of in the future.
I think what it is that I want to talk about more content with the community that I love. And I think that that's a major thing, that I want to be able to look at the bad stuff and the great stuff and the stuff that is totally in testing and be able to have an opinion on it. Now, people
How long did you talk about scanning for? Did you talk about it a bit? I talked about it a lot.
I don't really know. I would have covered it probably very, very briefly.
Really? See, I thought it was a huge thing.
I mean, I did one video on it and then talked about it in the news, and that was it.
I talked about it for like a week on stream.
Well, it's because for me it's a placeholder mechanic. So,
but while it's a placeholder mechanic, it still showed the ideas of where they want to go with it.
Yeah. So I think that they're going to show a lot more quite soon with it. That's what I feel. So I didn't want to do a huge expose on scanning.
Yeah.
I make some calls like that, and sometimes I'm totally wrong.
Well, it's a lot harder for you because you can't have that conversation, right? On YouTube. Yeah. Where on Twitch, you can say, what do you guys think about scanning? And then you can have a conversation back and forth.
I think one of the worries that CIG probably have with it all is that people are going to just kind of complain about stuff for no reason, or don't give constructive feedback or criticism. It's just going to be like complain about things. Now, most people aren't like that, are they? Am I naive?
No, I think you're being naive. I mean, Matt Sherman here.
I think no matter what, you're going to get people complaining, whether they show things or they don't show things. You're going to have people complaining, right?
Yeah,
I think you're going to have more if you don't show them.
Because then the people who actually love this game, like the three of us, are sitting here complaining for an hour and 15 minutes at this point, right?
What did Matt Sherman say? I don't think people mind us complaining about stuff. I like these kind of conversations. I like, even if they're a bit polarizing, I like just talking about stuff.
So he said people also make armchair claims as to how difficult they think something should be to fix, with absolute zero frame of reference in the realm of reality when it comes to what it really takes to deliver those things. Yes. But
yeah, but that's kind of
that's always
irrelevant.
like we said, that's always going to happen though.
Yeah, but that's
no matter
slightly
what
irrelevant from what we're talking about, because I don't care. I mean, they still choose what to show us effectively with showing us more. They just get to also show us, like they used to have that the bug of the week stuff, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
But they stopped showing that because that got taken out of context by other people and used to spin bad stuff for them. I think that people that are mature and want to do the research, it doesn't matter whether they show good stuff or bad stuff, because people are going to do research into the game and then go, "Oh, this is fucking awesome," or if they're into that. And I don't know. I like seeing bad bits to compare them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and just a thing that you guys should do. Anyone that does play Star Citizen or is interested in it, take like 3 seconds while you're playing, and just look around, and just see where you are and what you're doing and how great it looks. You know, it might be, you know, X FPS right now, but we all know that they're putting in those fixes. But you know, I got a little frustrated today. I was dogfighting in the PU, so it was low frames. There was a lot of, you know, jumping around and stuff like that of the guy who I was trying to fight, and I was missing a lot. But I still like sat there and said, "Wow, you know, this game that I'm playing is going to be this like absolutely amazing game."
Fidelity-wise and graphically, I was playing Titanfall 2, and it looks great for the Source engine. But then I compare it to Star Citizen, and Titanfall 2 looks toss.
Do you think, Source,
toss compared?
Source, do you think that's why you can't find yourself playing other games? Because obviously the gameplay isn't there.
Armor. He plays Armor. That's not graphically amazing.
It's not. It's more to do with the gameplay of what it is, and I know that. For me, what I like in Star Citizen, a lot of it, what I like in Star Citizen isn't there yet.
Yeah.
It exists in other MMOs, but I don't have the time to get invested in another MMO. Like, the way that I am, I'm like a sponge, and I will absorb every little bit of information about something. And I know I can't do that with another MMO, and so there's very few games that have mechanics or elements to those games that interest me. Like, whether it be the theme of it, or just the gameplay style, or whatever. It's less to do so much with the graphics. I mean, it's part of it, but it's a small part of it.
Okay. But yeah, so I don't know. I think we're the last thing that, or the last two things is they showed a Mars planet. That was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got really, really close to the water, and it looked fantastic still. Up close to the water and everything.
And they've even said that's not their final.
No. And then that there's really no interaction with the water yet, but they're not going to have any walls, and we talked about this last week.
And eventually there will be things in the water. You'll have to walk into the sea. There'll be reasons for that, maybe.
Yeah, who knows? We'll have like scuba suits. Scuba board.
It's going to be like what's that game that we played? Subnautica.
Oh God, please no.
I loved Subnautica. Do you feel
it scares me. It scares me.
It scares you.
I'm so scared of that
You're
game.
going to be terrified in Star Citizen if you've got like a xenomorph in your shit, mate.
No, I have a fear of the ocean and under me. Like not being able to see below you and not knowing what's below you it scares me.
How is that different from space?
Yeah.
Not to try and scare you with space.
Because I've never been in space in my real life. I've never been in that situation where it was like, holy shit. The ocean is, 30 feet below me. I don't know what's below me.
Okay,
exactly.
That.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Okay, it's weird.
And like I've gone snorkeling and see a shark swim by you, or a barracuda that can totally rip your arm off if it wanted to, and that kind of stuff scared me. So I've grown to have this fear over the course of my life, and I'm starting to have a fear of planes too. I don't know. I'm getting more scared of things as I get older.
Scared of the ocean and you're scared of planes, but you're not scared of flying in a spaceship.
In real life, I'd be scared of flying in a spaceship.
Okay.
But because it's not real life, I can't. Yeah.
You're scared of the water. No, sorry.
Yeah, but yeah. So like, I won't go in the ocean above like my chest.
Swans will break your arm. Swan in this country, mate. They're dangerous. They're a dangerous bird.
Okay.
Just go around breaking people's arms, mate.
I think Matauchi's back.
He is indeed.
Yeah, he said he's back home, so maybe we can bring him on. I don't know. He's not on cam yet, though. But do we want to start getting into some questions? There he is. He's here. So we can start talking to Matauchi then.
Oh, hey, Matauchi. Just want to break your arm, mate.
What's going on, guys?
Welcome back, dude.
Yep. Look, I'm redacted.
Oh my god.
This show has been the biggest clusterfuck we've ever had.
I think I've contributed a part of that because you guys wanted to include me in. But it's looked beautiful. The nebulas looked wonderful during the whole thing because my kids got in the truck and they were like, Daddy, isn't that your screen? Because I'm watching on my phone at the bus stop down there. And they're like, they took your screen. I'm like,
no.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. So why are we bringing Matauchi on, Source?
Yeah, why am I here?
Look at his stupid face. I wanted everybody to see his stupid face.
I know. I was like really intimidated when I saw my phone. It's like this huge screen. I'm like, am I going to go on that?
Yes. You're the big special guest today.
Yeah.
We don't get many guests on here, so
I know. I feel super special. I think the last person I saw you guys have on was Brickyard, and he had to like share a screen with you.
Well, he was in the same room as me.
I know, and you like cut out a huge section of the entire screen to show me, and I'm like, great. I don't even I'm not even dressed up and all that stuff. But
this guy doesn't even wear a suit. Jesus.
And I know my audio is screwed up, guys, but it was like ad hoc threw together there, so I apologize. So
not bad.
Yeah, we can hear you. You just are like a bad Japanese movie from 1950.
I know. Go fight! Do it now.
Pretty much.
No. It's just on the borderline racist.
But I appreciate you guys having me on, even though it's for just a little bit and all that stuff. So it's really awesome.
Well, the reason that we have you on is because we brought you on to Redacted not too long ago.
No.
And you just how many days ago got partnered on Twitch?
Officially, I got the notice on Thursday, and then I had to shut the hell up and not say anything all the way to Monday.
We've all been there.
Really hard.
Yep.
Really hard. Everybody's like, you hear anything?
Mine took over a week.
We haven't all been there.
It was crazy. Yeah. But I'm so hyped, so excited, and special shout out to the entire community. Thank you so much. I had to do the Space Bro show and like not say anything to the entire audience. I was like, that was so hard. I was like, God, I can't say anything to this.
It's been awesome to watch you grow and jump into streaming and improve like immediately.
Yeah.
Like, it's been awesome to watch because I think that might inspire some people in the future to actually stream.
The team's been great. You know, you guys have like gave me kind of behind the scenes look, and you know, especially with Bored being so helpful with all the YouTube advice and all that stuff. No, but it's been really fun. It's been really fun. I mean, you know, I streamed off and on for a couple years and stuff, just playing around all the stuff. But when I kind of made the business plan model and all that stuff, and then, you know, Source approached me and you guys said, hey, you know, we'd like to have you over here and stuff. And it's been really awesome. It's been truly awesome. And it means a lot that all you guys are like been so supportive.
It's been really great to have you too. Like we had a meeting about the website on Sunday and Matauchi was there and gave, you know, we had a lot of back and forth feedback, and it's nice to have someone that's really motivated, you know, dedicated to helping others. And like I mentioned a lot of times the word family in that meeting, and I definitely consider you a part of like our little Redacted family. It's really nice to have you around, and I'm really, really happy for you. We're really, really proud of you.
Yeah. It's still totally sinking in, you know, like Source was asking. Source was the first person, by the way, who subbed me on Twitch. He was the very first one. So he's been waiting and he hit the button. He got it.
And Twerk, I think, was the second because I immediately messaged Twerk and I was like, yo. And it was the same thing. It was the same thing with Twerk though too, right? Like Twerk said, like you guys to me are like, you know, I want you guys to be as successful as I am or exceed that if you can. And I'll do everything in my power. I'll do everything in my power to help you guys do that. I know that sounded
that was the
weird.
worst way to say that.
I know. But yeah. Anyways.
One day, guys, I hope you'll be as successful as me. Maybe
if you can. Like, I don't know. I mean, you're kind of cool, but
kind of okay. I
not as
guess.
cool as me.
Except for
It was
Bored.
just
I don't want Bored
accidentally.
ever.
It's just
Ever.
accidentally.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Anyways,
I love you.
fucking
great.
One day,
yeah.
Matachi, one day.
Yeah. One of these days. I know. At least I know what to work up to, right?
Yeah. I don't even. Where do we go after that?
I don't know.
Damn it! Even you did it
so
now,
good.
Soros.
This is the
Oh,
best podcast
it was
I've
your
ever
turn.
been on.
Yeah.
Awesome
Oh
sauce.
my god.
Anyways,
No,
my
but-
whole fucking point was that I like seeing you guys succeed, and I'm gonna do anything I can to help you guys succeed, and the team is gonna do that as well. And it's like, yeah, fuck it, I get whatever. Now
No,
I feel like an asshole. No, I feel like a giant
Not an
asshole now.
I love that how he flipped that on you too, Twerk. It's like ninja moves. It's like, see, you made him a jerk. Don't do that. No, but really, it's Source has been probably the biggest help of anybody I've talked to in a long time because he's always available. I can shoot him a message at like 2 a.m. my time, and I'll be like, oh, he'll get me back tomorrow, and I'll be like, this little message comes up because he's there, you know. So it's been really good. Yeah, you like that? I'm gonna coin that.
We've had lots of back and forth about you know, applying for partnership and you know, keep going, keep working. This is, you know, maybe try this. You know, this is working. We talked a lot about, you know, little things on your Twitch channel, right? And hey, maybe you should change that a little bit. That's a little weird. Well, this would be really cool if you did this.
And that's not going to stop because, I mean, this is just like we said, this is just the beginning, right? I mean, there's so many things beyond when you first get partnered that I still have to discover and all that stuff. And
it's all about emotes, dude. You just want more emotes and you can't stop wanting them. I can't stop wanting them. It's so fun. Yeah, it really is an addiction. Like, I have all these cool emotes that I would love to make sub emotes now, but just can't. And I have to work my way to it. And it's a process, and it's fun, and it's going to be a really great road. It's hard some days, and it's really fantastic other days, right? And I can't wait for you to experience the ups and downs, because that's one of the best things about being a Twitch streamer is learning things on your own and you know, but having that support with your friends there too, you know, to help you along.
And I couldn't choose a better game community to like kind of experience this with, because everybody just banded together. The minute they know you're going for a goal, they're all there. It's like everybody, you know, you see everybody from, I mean, I've watched Twerk and Source for a while, and then I, you know, every once in a while I'll watch a BoredGamer video, but all the time, I've watched them for a long time, and to see guys that I know from chat over there in my chat enjoying my shows, like, it's so exciting. I'm like, this is so cool. Yeah. It's like, it gets a little overwhelming sometimes. I'm just like, I can't believe like all this stuff's going on, and that, you know, my main reason for streaming and trying to go for partnership is so I can not only do this and enjoy the games and the community, but I can be home with my kids. Like, I've been gone the whole time. These guys have been patiently waiting this whole time with my silly motion background here for me to come on the air, and I've been up at the bus stop getting my kids. And so I effed up their whole podcast for them just to have me on. And that's the type of guys these are. They like,
it's BoredGamer's fault. It's not your
fault. They take the time out of their day, guys, to like totally make sure to do this. They all act like they give each other crap, but they're really awesome. They really do this all the time. So super cool.
I'm just really happy that you're part of the team and you're part of this Star Citizen community, man. So
yeah. Well, I'm happy.
And that you're achieving your goals and everything. And like I said, there's nothing that we won't stop at to make sure that you continue to achieve your goals moving on into the future.
Why did you decide to start streaming, Matachi?
What's that?
Why did you decide to start streaming? When did it just occur to you to stream?
Do you want to know the truth of when I started streaming off and on 3 years ago? It was actually to bait and switch people, because I played EVE Online, and we would bait people with the stream, and they would try to hot drop my fleet, and we would reverse hot drop and then kill them all. It was really fun. It's a great tactic. So when I hear all the streamers and starts and go, oh, I'm not really worried about stream sniping, I'm gonna leverage the shit out of that. I know. Tactics. But anyway, definitely
giving away all our strats.
So
I know, right? Right here live. Come see the secret strats. Amazing.
More recently, then, why did you start to stream Star Citizen?
And push for partnership and everything?
Yeah, why did you decide to take it that next level?
I started playing Star Citizen a little over 2 years ago. I played EVE for like 8 years, but It just wasn't. I didn't really believe in the company as CCP anymore, and that's the company that makes EVE Online, because they were rotating out devs, they were bait and switching. They promised. This might even sound a little familiar. They promised a lot, but it felt like they never delivered. Whereas I saw with Star Citizen, it took them longer, right? But when they delivered, it like blew your socks off. It was always amazing, and just some of those things like that. And I saw some of the community interaction, and I was like, I just jumped in both feet and started checking it out. And I was just like, even though it didn't have nearly, evolved like EVE or anything like that, and it's still in development, I mean, there's no other game company like this. And to be like a little ship avatar leading a fleet like of 300 to 500 people when I was in EVE, I would much rather be here and be part of a crew or be on the bridge of a ship and have that physicality there and that whole immersion. It's just, I don't know. I love space games. And I think just being in that first person mode and being that intimate type of setting is way more my speed. So
nice.
I'm super hyped about everything that's coming, hopefully in the next 6 months to a year here. So it's going to be really cool. Super awesome.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to feel surreal for a while.
How long have you started streaming on like a schedule?
On a schedule? I'd say 3 months ago, I started hitting an exact schedule because, before kind of made a schedule just so people would know, but I didn't ever feel obligated to adhere to it because I wasn't trying to achieve anything or anything like that. But when I made my business plan, hell or high water, we're sticking to that schedule and we're going to do it, even if a little bit late, a little bit early. I think the schedule is the most critical aspect of the whole deal, because every time you cancel, it's like a TV show. People want to come there and interact with you and do that stuff. And when you're not there, you're disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime we've ever had somebody join Redacted, it's always first question's always, are you on a schedule?
Yeah.
People ask, are you on a schedule? Well, I'm trying. Nope. It's just you. If you want to be successful in streaming and everything, you got to be on a schedule. It's just, it is what it is. I know I'm gray late every day a little bit. I definitely was this morning, but I'm there. Every time I can be, I'm there,
Well, it's hard to think of any job you can be really successful at if you have no schedule at all.
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably a few out there, but, unless you're going to be the on-call streamer, I guess. I mean,
I'm on call.
There you go. On-call. Call me instant stream.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's really cool to see you're for us in Redacted, you're the first person that's ever joined and had gotten partnered since joining. So it's like a little thing for I think Saurus and Bored and I, when the three of us put this together, this kind of moment was something I think the three of us were really looking forward to and really thought that could happen. It's not, I think a lot of this you did on your own, but to be there and to support you with any questions that you had, and to be
especially with the YouTube stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Can we tell? Let's tell that story. Let's skip this part and go right to that story.
Story? The YouTube stuff. There's no story.
There is a story. You popped in a channel and asked BoredGamer a bunch of YouTube questions, and he ignored you.
Bored was busy on another thing, and he had said that they were going to start YouTube meeting. And I was in the Redacted Discord. He unmutes and he says, "Oh yeah, I'll be there in a minute." And he just muted me, and I sat in the channel for like an hour and a half, and he never came back. And he was just sitting there muted the entire time.
That sounds like Bored.
It was a test, Machachi. You failed.
Oh.
You failed that test.
How do you succeed in that test?
If I told you to work, then when I test you, you'll pass.
It wouldn't work.
You'd work out on your own.
Wouldn't do well.
Yeah.
I am the least organized person in existence.
Oh, I'm pretty close.
I literally have to live my entire life by lists and schedules. And if I lose that list, I'm fucked. I get distracted by anything. Oh, look, a bee. Like, kind of, just immediately. Pretty lights, anything. So
yeah. I'm definitely a creature of habit. Where
me
I
too.
Get into a habit and then whatever. And then if something breaks that, then I lose my shit.
Like today's podcast?
Yeah. So that's a perfect example, right? Like where everything is sort of normally things that we have that are last minute
don't take long and aren't different.
Yeah, aren't so different. It's things that I slowly ease into and I get in the habit of doing it over a period of time. Right? That's why I'm so good with keeping to my schedule. That's why I'm so good to do whatever it is that I'm doing. Because it is something that I just do over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But
I've started to pick up on a little of that. I notice like if it's Monday and it's 10 a.m., that's usually when I stream Central Time. And if I'm like 5 minutes late, I start freaking out. I'm like, I'm going to get the pre going. I got to do all this because I'm just accustomed to that. And even on previously, before I started this, if I had the day scheduled off to do something with family, I'm checking like Twitch all the time. I feel like I'm supposed to be there streaming, I'm like, this is when I'm usually there with the guys, you get used to it.
Yeah, it was the same thing like when I started taking Sundays off, and Torque was like, you just take them off.
You have to.
And I'm like,
you have to.
But because I'm a creature of habit, it's like,
and you had a hard time doing it, right?
Yeah, it was.
But
it was on and off for a while until I got into the habit of it. I mean, I still work all day.
I mean, like Tuesday. Listen, like yesterday was my day off. I did not leave this computer. I did more work than I do on a normal stream day.
Yeah.
But.
And that's what I find. I find you
get all the extra.
You need your day off to get stuff done for the stream.
Yeah,
because you can't do it while you're streaming.
Exactly.
Because I got my split schedule where I do 10 and then I do 9 p.m. Because in the middle I got the kids and all that stuff. So I'm like, morning, get up, take kids to school. Boom, I'm streaming. I stop there, clean up the house, get the kids from school, feed them dinner. Boom, I'm back on the stream, and then I sleep for like 4 hours, and then I'm doing it again the next day.
So what is your schedule?
Like,
we might as well go into it. What's your schedule? How many days a week are you playing? Are you mostly Star Citizen? Like tell the people what
we've been breaking out in some other games, but I stream Star Citizen every single day, even at least just to touch it for whatever. And really, like my whole thing is we focus on giveaways and things like that because it's not. And the guys, when they first start coming to the channel, they're like, okay, are you going to stop this when you get a partner? I'm like, no, because this is my dynamic. My dynamic is if all the donations that come in, we do donations for the giveaways. So that way it pumps back into CIG, right? We're helping back the game, and then we give it back out to the community, right? I purely plan on making any money off of subs, subscriptions, and stuff like that. So as we grow the channel, all the money that comes in through donations, we can just keep cycling it back out, help grow the game, help support CIG in the game that we all want to make happen. So that's what I do. But the guys were asking originally, like, is this going to stop when you're partner? I'm like, no, this is kind of the flow of what I want to do for the channel because I love to give away stuff. There's nothing better than when you see somebody who's like been wanting to get the starter pack and they've never played the game and they're like, oh my God, I won this. And then you have a fan for life, right? Because he's able to play the game because he got the starter package from your channel.
Yeah.
And that's amazing to me. So I love doing that. And we just keep on rocking it out that way.
What were some of the other games that you were trying?
Well, we're playing a little bit of Battlefield 1 because I feel like I have such a weird thing, and it's kind of like the schedule thing. If I play a game, it's hard for me not to play it on the air because I'm like, I should just be streaming this because I feel like I'm playing my friends. I just want to, and I know certain people said, hey, if you don't think it jives with your channel, just don't play it. And I get that, but I'm still having a hard time getting over that part. So if I'm playing a game or two of Battlefield, I'm like, oh, let's fire the stream up, let's do it and do an impromptu and just have fun. And you see your numbers go down, and it's like, it is a little disheartening. You're like, I'm used to getting like this many people because I'm playing Star Citizen. I play this other game. I'll get a little bit, a chunk less of people, but I still do it. And I've been playing Battlefield. I'm not really checking out Titanfall. I've been watching you guys and everybody else who's been checking out the Titanfall 2 play that. I've got Call of Duty, so I'm going to be playing just the story campaign. I have very little interest in the multiplayer, but I might play it if some of you guys get it or anything.
Multiplayer's so cancer, that's why I don't really know.
I don't mind zombies, though. I've always kind of liked zombies as a team playing that on Call of Duty. I just never cared for the multiplayer on it. All so we'll be playing that too, and then
Titanfall 2 is fucking great. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I've watched you guys. I got burned on the first one really bad, and I was like, it's still, I haven't gotten over it on the original Titanfall.
How did you get burnt?
It had a bunch of hiccups and problems like 2 weeks into it and all that, and I just kind of let it go. I just didn't. I don't know. It's one of those things when it's like everybody else. Some people don't like Battlefield at all. It's because they had a bad experience with it or something of that nature, and I'm like, hey, that's cool, So they just don't want to come back and try to play it. But every iteration's different, and I should give Titanfall a chance. I'm just like, I feel like you guys are doing that, and I can watch you guys play it, and when it gets to be $30, I might buy it.
Matauchi, can you stick around for questions with us?
Sure, if you want me to, I can.
Sweet.
Yeah, I got kids are home and corralled, so they're good.
They're in their cages. Perfect. So now let's
They're watching their favorite YouTubers actually right now on their computer.
Sweet.
So,
and who is that?
PewDiePie.
I don't know. There's I think it's Dan TDM. Everything Minecraft.
Oh,
Anything,
Minecraft.
That's why I don't know. It's like whatever. All those guys.
Yeah.
All right, let's
Source,
jump
you got
into
questions ready to go?
Questions, yep.
Sweet.
So the first one's from Heen, and I'd like to hear your thoughts around a couple things here. First one being multiple characters per account, second one being multi-boxing, and 3 is throwaway or griefing accounts. To me, he says they seem to be inevitable in the persistent universe, especially if money is easily transferred as we would expect in an open economy. What do you think? Are they acceptable, fun, or exploitative, or bypass consequences for actions?
We're not going to see multi-boxing.
Yeah, so that was the first thing I was going to... Multi-boxing
no chance of that.
is not happening. In regards to multiple characters per account, you'll only be able to play one at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And throwaway or griefing accounts, sure, it's not like you'll just be transferring money without... Yeah, I mean, those accounts will happen, but it's not like you're just going to be transferring infinite amounts of money to these other shadow accounts without costs being inferred.
So
and they've talked
CIG,
about that before.
CIG, as well as there obviously being costs involved for anyone that wants those griefing accounts, CIG may have a good banning system like Blizzard do, for example, where they ban both your IP and your hardware install ID. So you can pretty much never play one of their games again.
So really quickly, people are asking why there won't be any multi-boxing. Do me a favor and go try and multi-box CSGO and get back to me.
Yeah, so you'd have to exist in the same place. Multi-boxing only works really in like World of Warcraft and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, Online,
now, you can do
EVE Online, there's huge amount of multi-boxing, but that's because it's a click. You can sit there and have 18 ships and it doesn't matter.
They might find something similar for clearing a certain PvE zones, but if a player turns up, those multi-boxes are... If it's anything similar.
And for those of you that don't know what multi-boxing is, it's like saying, okay, I have 3 computers here. All 3 of them are running Star Citizen, and I control them all with one keyboard and mouse.
Basically, yeah.
Basically, is the layman's...
One bot with 5
version.
people running.
Right.
Yeah. So I hit you once, but I've hit you 5 times because I'm actually 5 people.
Yeah, like, so it works in something like World of Warcraft and PvP and things like that when you're running 3 of the same characters, and the map, you don't really have to navigate a whole lot. So yeah, and there's like follow commands and things like that. I don't think you're going to be doing that with Star Citizen.
People will find exploits and they will find cheats.
Well, I mean, the only thing I could even see you doing that in Star Citizen would be you wouldn't even control it. You just have their client on to watch something or watch a position on their account or something. But that would entail you'd have to have 2 really badass computers, because let's be honest, you're not going to multi-blocks on the same client on the same computer, because it would just suck the life out of your RAM and your memory.
Not right now, but maybe 6 years, 7 years down the road, you're able to do that with that hardware, right? But even then, the style of game that it is just won't really allow for it. No. I don't think.
Yeah.
It depends on how CIG handle their bans and their exploits.
Yeah. And how they define griefing, right? Because griefing's still not clearly defined all the way by CIG. I mean, we all have our own idea what griefing is or not. Mm-hmm. But one man's griefing's another person's like operation, right? If I'm trying to keep you out of an asteroid belt to mine and I repeatedly kill you there, that guy's going to say, hey, he's griefing me. But maybe it's my job as a merc to keep them from mining that asteroid. So
and then you say, no, bitch, get good.
Yeah. I would say that griefing is something that the other player can't avoid.
Yes.
I'd say. So that is his choice to keep on going back to that asteroid field without protection. That's not... I mean, that's
we define it the same way, but I've also played games that don't define it that way. They define it if I repeatedly would kill somebody, even a PvP zone, the same person, even when they came in there, they would send me a notice saying, don't grief this person. It just depends on the game you play. Mm-hmm. So I would hope CIG would have, our perspective on that.
Yeah.
It seems like Chris Roberts would, but we'll see.
And if enough of us say no, that's the best thing about it being open development, like we were talking about earlier. Yeah. They'll have no choice but to say, you know what? They're right.
Mm-hmm.
Change it.
Everyone's a Care Bear. Good job, Twerk.
No, I mean, you know what? Trust me, I don't want any aspects of this game to be a Care Berry. Ask Matt Sherman.
Maravrin asks, I'm looking to have a larger role in the Star Citizen community. I continuously hear that we have the ability to influence the game as it develops, and I would like to know where I can go to either report bugs or offer gameplay feedback suggestions. Also, I'm sure that CIG gets a lot of these submissions, so how can I make any bug report or feedback suggestions complete enough that 1, I'm not saying something that has been beaten to death, and 2, it really does not help the development of the game, and 3, my submissions may actually get considered. I don't mind having a bad suggestion that they choose not to implement, but I would like to feel that they knew of it, and thanks to each of us for our contribution.
All right, so I've already put the link in the chat. I'm going to put it in I got to wait another 30 seconds. It is robertspaceintroductions.com/community/issue council. That's where you're going to want to go, and it's going to tell you, it's going to give you details on how to properly
how to do all of that stuff.
Post, and that's where you do that. So you don't, like, if somebody's already reported a bug that you've encountered, you can contribute to that bug, say you've reproduced it, give more feedback on what's going on, and
they provide all the tools for you to do that there.
Absolutely.
So it's like you
really
can
awesome.
just go into that bug that's already been submitted and do all of that there. You don't have to create a new post for that. And it will, so like when you put in your title, if there is something similar, it'll ask you if those things are the bug that you're trying to submit, and if not, then you can continue with that if it's something different. Toby Williamson asked, during the anniversary sale, if a chassis limited ship, for example the 890 Phoenix Idris, is available to buy, will I be able to CCU to get one? Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's how it's always been. If they've made the ships available to purchase, you have been able to CCU to it.
I don't think you'll be able to CCU to Idris's.
Why not?
Because they're over $1,000.
Yeah, that $1,000 marker though. That's when things get weird.
Well, wouldn't you just melt it and just use that money towards the Idris then and that in? I mean, it's the same thing.
You could do this.
That's the beauty of the game. You don't, even if you decide to want to upgrade, there's so many paths to get there that Star Citizen offers a lot more paths to get to the ship you want or the package you want or the pledge you want, no matter which way you want to go. So
really as long as it isn't a game package that you're melting. So say you have like, I have a Dragonfly and I wanted to update it to the Idris. Well, instead, you could just melt that Dragonfly and use those credits towards the Idris.
Yeah. Now, Freak Lord in the chat said not possible with the Phoenix last year. So it might be one of those things that we'll have to hear what they say when it gets a little closer. I'm sure it's going to be a question people are going to ask.
Limited hull numbers might not be able to be CCU upgraded to.
I think that's why he asked about the 890, because that was a limited hull number.
Well, yeah, it has to be an available ship, right? I mean, if it's not currently available, you can't upgrade to it. So upgrading is not a way to
stock hulls. So when they say we've got limited sale, but there's only 200 hulls, I'm not sure if you can CCU.
But that also brought the thought, somebody asked in my chat too the other day, they asked if they could melt their current package to get anyone they wanted. They thought it was a way to get around available ships, and if they already had money in the game, they'd be able to upgrade to something that wasn't currently for sale, in other words. And you can't do that. It has to be readily available for sale. You can't like melt something and then get a Endeavor all of a sudden. You know, it has to be available for sale. Then you can apply those credits towards that ship when it's for sale. And there's a great opportunity coming up in about a week or two here to do that with the anniversary sale. So
2 weeks.
Yep.
Woo!
Narco asks, do you think we will be able to board Vanduul capital ships in the Persistent Universe? Will they be able to board player ships?
Yes, and yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
I would think so. Otherwise, they're doing all the work on the interiors for no reason.
Yep.
Them salty tears of people losing their ships to PvE situations with the Vanduul.
Oh, God.
It's going to be amazing. Great. Oh, I got logged off. I got logged off and my ship was gone. I didn't get taken my Vanduul.
Are we going to be able to board their ships?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Okay. And they're supposed to have less gravity and it should feel different.
That's on the Kingship, they jump
around.
I
was sure they'd be able to board us. I didn't know if we'd be able to board them too or not.
I'm hoping that we can literally steal their ships with enough players, literally steal King ships. Although obviously they're alien tech, so and
I wouldn't know what any of the buttons did. Right, I've already lost in the crossover ships that they did.
Yeah,
it's like okay.
Have to get a player learn Vanduul. Says, I'd love to know your updated thoughts if you have any on the X56 Rhino. So I'm gonna step out of this one. The torque and board received, specifically the things that make the X56 different from its predecessor, the analog sticks and the upgraded twist mechanism accuracy, or just your general thoughts. He also goes on to say that Montoya from Test has said, curious that they would reveal this ahead of the Star Citizen branded stick. Odds are every person is buying this one, not buying the Star Citizen one in a few months. How true do you think this will be? What are your thoughts on the Star Citizen HOTAS? Do you think we'll see infos on this in the anniversary stream? I think right now, as of that Logitech has bought SciTech, that whole contract is up in the air. So it's kind of irrelevant at this point.
I don't know. I think it's cool. I think the sticks are pretty accurate. They're loose, but I think if you get used to it, you can actually use them as gimbaled weapons at some point. But it is like if you're gonna press them down. Here, let me try and get it on the screen. If you're going to press them down, see how my thumb wiggles a little bit and start moving them? It's a little hard to be accurate. It's a lot easier on the regular stick, and it's also a lot easier if you're kind of using them
And the other
properly,
thing, too, is, I mean, it sounds like Montoya is making some leaps. They may not be big leaps, but assuming that the X56 is going to be the exact same as the Star Citizen branded HOTAS.
Yeah, I think what the X56 might be with those little joysticks is let's try this, see how it works.
One of the good things about that is that you could, for example, use those little joysticks to open your Mobiglass with and do Mobiglass stuff with the thumbstick without having to use your mouse and keyboard again. So that's the issue with HOTAS, is that because you're going to need your mouse and keyboard as well, at some point you're going to have to put your HOTAS to a side.
You can maybe even walk around on planets with it.
I mean, maybe.
Two sticks like a gamepad.
Maybe, yeah. If you get the controls comfortable enough on a HOTAS so you didn't have to take your hands off, that would be the best thing.
Yeah.
So maybe you could use it for that. Maybe we can get a guide up for that eventually.
We know more about the game. If people like the review of the T16000M HOTAS that I did, I'm gonna do another one on the X56. I'm gonna use the shit out of it. I'm actually gonna I don't think I loaded out all the buttons the way I wanted to just yet. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to really use it. I'm going to use it for like a week, 2 weeks, a month straight, play a ton of Star Citizen with it, maybe even some other games like Elite, and try it and just see how I like it. So we'll see.
So my experience with the F56 is, well, actually one of my friends is currently using it and using the hell out of it. I know he's pretty heavy-handed with sticks, and it's still working and it's fine for him. Some people have reported dead on arrival buttons, but I think that's mainly with the X55s that they had those problems rather than the X56. And the X56 is just in general a higher quality HOTAS than the X55 was, with a few extra features and better wiring and stuff, apparently. I don't know about the internal wiring. I've seen videos, people saying the wiring's bad, but then videos saying that they're wrong and the wiring's actually good. So it is controversial, the X56, mainly because the X55 had issues and people have been burnt by the X55. But it is the last stick that SciTech will make without being part of Logitech. So maybe all their sticks will be better from now on and have great success rates, or maybe not. I'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Our next question's from Zeus and Oxia for Twerk17.
Yes.
With CIG,
it's not even real. It's one of my mods. It's not fair.
With CIG having a tendency to include legally distinct versions of other franchises' assets, do you think that the release of Titanfall 2 will influence their design on the Titan armor, or do you expect them to go something smaller? Do you think that the Titan armor design should be such that it only for open area combat and it won't allow it to go inside space stations or planet-side bases? Do you think that Sean Tracy, who is a huge fan of the MechWarrior franchise, can influence CIG to include mechs for planet-side combat?
I think he's absolutely going to be a big influence on that fact. I don't, to be honest, I don't think I can comment on the other stuff. I have no idea. But I think you're going to see a lot of, I think he's going to take, with the art and with the game design for the mechs or for the Titan suit, you're going to see him take a lot of reins on that, I think, and be a big part of it. Do I think... I don't know. I'll let some of you guys answer this one too, but
it's your question.
It doesn't matter. I can't answer it.
Oh, that's why no one asks you questions, Twerk. It's answers like that.
What do you think?
So, I think that Titan armor is going to have heavy restrictions. It's going to make you super powerful, but super slow, maybe. Bad turning circle. You need support from Marines. You're basically be a mobile tank. My way I think of it. So yeah, you might not be able to use it on space stations, or maybe you can use it on the outside of space stations, clomping along. I don't really know, but it's going to be big, it's going to be heavy, and that's going to be its restriction. It's probably going to be vulnerable to EMPs and stuff like that, taking out servos in it maybe. Yeah. But I suspect something super armored and super we don't want to fight that in the front.
Yeah.
But there'll be ways around it so they're not suitable for just one person wearing them. But I think some ships already have, does the Retaliator's drop pod have a section for charging a Titan suit?
I think that it does. I think they mentioned something about that.
Yeah,
right?
I think in concept it did.
Yeah.
So some ships already have the idea of having them in, so they definitely can exist in enclosed spaces, like the Retaliator. It's whether or not they're... I think they probably will be able to go on space stations, so they'll just be really, really, really hard to turn in corridors. So they just get flanked and annihilated, maybe. We don't know. We haven't been made yet. Next great Star Marine Citizen Man thing.
Next question is for Twerk17 from Zeus and Oxia.
Yes.
CIG announced that the anniversary stream will be focusing on ships. They already announced the Prowler. More details will be disclosed about the current state of some ships already in the pipeline. Do you think that they will release other concept ships other than the Prowler? Also, considering that some people were voicing their concern about them cashing in on ships while not releasing the Squadron 42 content they promised, do you think it would still be a good idea for CIG to announce the new concept ships without the Squadron 42 demo?
I think they're going to show us more Vandal ships, more Squadron 42 ready-to-go ships and sell them in concept. Because you can't, there's no way, how long is this anniversary stream going to be? What are they going to do? If it's going to be strictly on ships, what are they going to really, how are they going to hold all that time? They've never done an
anniversary stream before on ships.
Just on ships.
No.
So I
don't think that's going to be.
I don't think, number one, I don't think it's specifically going to be on ships. I think it's going to be a little bit more of the way the anniversary stream was last year, right? Where they kind of went around to the offices, said, what are you guys working on? Show us a little something, and they'll do it. You know, last year we saw the star map, right? And things like that. No,
that was a CitizenCon.
No, like they showed the very, very, very early working of a star map concept at last year's.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, like they went to Montreal, like they had the Skype into Montreal and they showed it to us, and it was like, holy shit, that's awesome. I expect a little bit of that.
Maybe with Spectrum or something.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more on Spectrum, because I mean, hey, they were hoping to release Spectrum by the end of the year, midway through November is pretty close to that.
I don't think they wanted to show it at CitizenCon.
No, I think it was definitely for this. Yeah. You know. But because of Squadron, they maybe pushed that. That being said,
they may have that Squadron 42 demo now, even though because they were, and I've said this on my channel, because they were so close to it at CitizenCon, it was literally within days. So now it's like I feel that if they don't show it now, it's like, well, what is the reason you haven't shown it now? You have had all this time to fix those whatever things were holding it back when it was just a couple of days.
Yeah,
from being ready.
If they don't show it at the anniversary live stream, I will have an angry word with CIG. I'll literally type "boo" like that, and then I'll get over it.
How do you spell
that? With B's, W's, and A's. It's a British word.
And
it's right. It's right. Ooh.
Yeah, they put so much work into that and so much effort. It'd be a waste if they didn't show it before the end of the year. I mean, unless they rework the whole thing. I hope not.
Our next question is for Twerk17 from Zeus and Oxia.
Thank you, bud.
Do you think CIG should release updated versions of the various design documents like cargo, mining, salvaging, exploring? Do you have any idea of why CIG are not releasing these documents? So we can assume that the design documents must be complete by now.
Yeah, well, we talked about it earlier, right? Where when those systems are getting closer, we're going to see the design docs for them again. So that's a simple one. That was answered by Lando on the forums this week. That's why we're not seeing new ones, and I think we're going to see updated ones soon. Within throughout 2017.
From Bravels84 for Twerk17. I know it's been a few weeks since the hurricane that hit. Was there any damage where you live or to your home?
No, it missed me. I was really lucky. It barely got breezy. It's been windier.
It blew over a pot for.
Yeah, it didn't even do that. Like it was windier this last week than it was then. So yeah.
From Brevels for BoredGamer, what multi-core processor would you suggest for a Star Citizen rig? Was thinking about the 6850K. I have an overclocked 3770K now.
I love the 6700K. I would wait until the 7700Ks come out, and then we'll have to see more. That architecture gains with that set look pretty cool, although then they're an evolution rather than a revolutionary chipset.
They're a talk instead of a tick.
Yeah. So wait until then before you buy anything. The processor you've got currently is pretty awesome. That you were talking. So I mean, and the problem with the 6850Ks is they're really expensive for a load of cores, but their single core performance isn't amazing. Now they did talk about Star Citizen being scalable up to 16 cores, possibly even more in the future, and that's going to be awesome for multi-core processors and threading, but we're not there yet. So looking at buying a processor now for it is a waste of money.
Yeah.
Keep what you've got. Wait as long as you can.
Somebody's talking about AMD processors in chat.
Wait for the Zens as well.
My response is
yeah.
At the very least, Zens will bring down the price of the Intel stuff.
Yeah, Zen could really help. We don't know.
Possibly.
You've got to remember that Intel licenses 64-bit technology from AMD.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's how they're making money, because AMD can't make money any other way right now.
Well, they are in all the consoles too. Don't forget that.
And for laptop solutions, they're very affordable. The AMD do some good stuff on the budget end. What AMD need is a
high end.
Yeah. They need a killer chip. If they can get back competitive with Intel, then we'll start to see processor wars again, and that's good for everyone.
That's really good for everybody.
Cheaper,
cheaper.
Although the Skylake series with the 6700K was very reasonable, I think, compared to like the other models. I mean, I picked mine up for $300. I mean, that's pretty reasonable for.
But we could see a drastic reduction in prices if AMD get a good chip out there, or at least us getting architecture significantly faster. So
yeah,
I want the wars again, and we'll have it at some point. It's just.
Brimstone 666 says, "Hey guys, just so you know, I haven't been able to watch one episode of Redacted podcast ever, as it's always on when I drive to work. I work nights, so I'm one of those viewers that listens to a recorded version in your car, and I haven't missed an episode in 12 weeks. My question is,
thank you.
Come the big day when Chris Roberts gives us a definite release date, do you believe there will be a concerted advertising campaign, pages in gaming magazines, ads all over YouTube, and maybe even a TV advertisement? And if so, do you think if any of this will attract a whole new type of Star Citizen player, typically much younger, more casual, and maybe even this sort of player to troll or grief?"
Yes, and yes.
I don't know if we're going to get those major ads. They'll work
magazines for sure.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But they'll literally look at every individual type of advertising and work out what's best for the game, best for the genre, what's best for their core audience, and that sort of stuff.
I think we're going to see TV ads.
I
think they're gonna get hype in advertising anyway, just because people are gonna be like, "God, it's done." You'll see like it's done.
Do PC only games advertise on television?
Not really.
Yeah, sometimes. World of Warcraft.
Well, World of Warcraft had advertising content.
Other than WoW, but that's a little different.
Some do, of course. They do.
A AAA title that is only on PC.
Only on PC.
I haven't watched TV in like 12 or 15 years, so I don't know.
I watch. I only see Call of Duty, Madden.
So
I don't.
I see those on YouTube. I see them on YouTube and on Twitch advertisements, but that's it.
Civilization definitely was on.
Civ was on TV.
But there are definitely a good few games that are PC only that do advertise on TV. Now that might be more aimed at the Asian markets though. So you'll definitely see if they're bringing it hard to the Asian markets. Squadron 42 and
World
Star
of Tanks.
Citizen. World of Tanks, yes.
Yeah, people are saying that.
But we'll see lots of
That's
Asian
on console
adverts
now too.
I think we're seeing lots in Japan, lots in China. That's what I think. If they're going for the TV route, because that's the kind of that's kind of just works there better than it does here.
I think
we're
we'll
not
see them on TV.
We're not big consumers of TV anymore in like the UK and the US. Not so much as we used to be. We've moved on to other mediums. We've moved on to PCs. We've moved on to the laptops and iPads. Yes. But the Asian and Russian markets, they are much more still consuming TV.
I can see it. I think it would be a smart thing for them.
Yeah,
because when that happens, that's when it's profit time, right?
Now, I doubt you'll see as many young, horrible troll players like you see with Call of Duty, for example, that you do in Star Citizen, because it's a more complex game. It requires
access as well. Yeah.
Yes, barriers of entry is a massive one. You need a powerful rig. It's complex, and you can get banned, and lose your access to it. So, yeah, I don't think we'll see as many.
It will definitely bring a younger audience, though.
Yeah,
it will definitely.
And a more mainstream audience.
But will they stay is a whole nother question, because some people, like we had an influx of people come in to EVE when I was playing it. When they do some big marketing and stuff, but a lot of them wouldn't stay. Especially when they came out with Dust 514, which was their console shooter that they tried to tie into the game, which ultimately flopped completely.
Yeah.
And then, it was, you saw a lot of them leave, but the older generation FPSers, even from console, ended up staying and playing the PC side of things. So it just depends, I think.
Our next question is from Ubi Montreal Legion. He says, what do you expect ejection models will be like in atmospheric flights? Will it be from a pod, or will you fly with a parachute? Because I guess it will have to come with 3.0, which is probably closer than we think.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know. I'm assuming a parachute. You would think that there would already be something like that in the engine that they can just be like, all right, parachute.
I think for most ships it will be parachute. I suspect there's some sort of slightly more advanced version for like 890 jumps, or one of the manufacturers will have like something slightly better than a parachute. They go, look at the energy glider or something.
How will Drake do it?
Or what? I think
they won't.
The other thing they could do is they could have little thrusters on the bottom of them as well. So instead of a parachute, they could just slowly lower down, a la Elon Musk rocket.
You might have a parachute in the back of your Cutlass, so you can run out the back. Because I can imagine that people will do like Halo jumps and stuff.
That'd be cool. I'd like to see them like have a ship that has those drop pods, like from Battlefield 2142, where you could like you're like in a little compartment, kind of like escape pod, and it just drops down and breaks open, and you're just running and gunning right from there. That'd be amazing.
I want that as well. I was hoping that the Tavaran boarding ships were like that, but obviously they're much bigger than I expected originally. I thought they were just going to be like escape pods.
Do we know the size of the Tavaran? I didn't think we did.
Maybe we don't.
We don't.
I just assumed that because they're a boarding ship, they'd have a good amount of people on.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a 5-man boarding ship or a 100-man boarding ship.
Yeah, they didn't give us those numbers.
We don't.
Everything gets bigger too, so.
From Covent Garden Martin, he's been following Star Citizen dev for over a year and worried they will really need crafting to have non-combat player-to-player interaction. Without it, you just seem to have hauling support in missions for this. What are your thoughts on the impact of not having crafting in Star Citizen, and how or why players would interact with each other without it in non-combat terms?
Read the mining doc.
Yeah. Trade, mining, cooperative working together,
exploration,
processing. Yeah, loads of jobs that need each other to work together. Information gathering,
salvaging, all sorts of different aspects of resource gathering.
EVE doesn't work because of its crafting system, does it?
No, the crafting system is like pretty much bring this material, push a button, it takes this long to produce, and it cranks out. So, I mean, they call it some in-depth crafting, and you have to go get different elements and stuff from different ores, but I could see Star Citizen doing the exact same thing, even on a better level.
If you close your eyes, you basically have crafting in Star Citizen from their standard economy system, because there'll be missions where you need to take resources from A to B, and then they can make thrusters on that planet or missiles on that planet.
Yeah.
So effectively, there is a crafting system. It's just you're not that involved with it directly. It's indirect crafting.
Mm-hmm. Bravels84 asks, what do you think is taking the longest to release 2.6? Here we go. AC Balance, AC Editions, Star Marine, etc.
I think it will be for Star Marine probably, and it will be network code and animations, because that has always been stuff that they've outlined in the monthly report that's caused them issues, and that was a problem in the original Star Marine stuff in the past. It's always stuff like that they want to polish, because they can always be better.
Yeah, I'm not touching this question with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, I'm good. We've talked about it plenty.
But we don't know, and it's just the thing. We just don't.
And another question from Bearballs84. Do you guys think CIG will release a single-seater salvage ship?
I sure hope so.
At some point down the line, I think so.
We'll probably see modules for some single-seater craft that allow them to do a bit of salvage. Or maybe you might even have like a hand salvage tool.
Yeah. Like something that like replaces equipment. Like they have an equipment dock, so instead of a weapon or something, there's something that breaks it down, and then you can go out by hand and grab it.
Yeah, I mean, I like that kind of idea. I think that's cool.
Well, there's a lot of ships that say they have a utility mount, right? So there's those things. I think to some level they want to have some ships be that multifaceted, where you could mine, salvage, or repair, or do something with the different module on it. So other ones will be dedicated role. I just don't know if you need that for salvaging, but maybe.
CIA Tyler asks, when will they be releasing Squadron 42? I've seen them say so many different things. I know you must get us asked a lot, but I trust your answer the most. We don't have an answer for you.
When it comes out.
Yeah, when it's ready to come out. Next question.
Chris Roberts is happy with it.
From
it's impossible
Joker.
to answer.
For those people that have a large roster of ships in the full game, do you think they will be stored in a specific place, i.e. my Caterpillar is docked in and only accessible from Port Olisar? Or do you think that the call your ship mechanic will always be the norm?
No, that's a placeholder for sure, the call your ship mechanic.
I think it'll definitely be wherever you have it. They stay wherever you put them.
But it will be, so I think that you'll be able to park your ships in hangars and call them out of hangars, and that they're literally just, there'll be a door that opens and the ship comes out.
Yeah, but if you have multiple
but it's at
hangars,
that landing location.
Yeah, it's at that.
Yes.
It's at that hangar.
But didn't they mention that you could hire an NPC to move it for you? Even then, you'd have an amount of time dilation before it would get somewhere else. But you could hire somebody to transport your ships. But it is at a physical spot. It won't just poof appear.
I think they said, for example, with the Endeavour, that you'd be able to call one of your ships to the Endeavour after you respawned there.
I
think so, but I think it's still a service fee.
I think indeed, definitely be some sort of service fee still.
Next question comes from C Dizzle. He says, with dogfights being long, with dogfights taking too long being one of the main reasons for the incoming flight changes, well, we don't know what that is, and everyone on either one side or the other about it. Once again, we don't know. How long should it take to destroy another ship in game where semi-permadeath is an intended game mechanic? There's a lot of assumptions in that question.
Yeah, that's a lot.
We know for larger ships that CIG intended larger ships to last longer so that you could fully explore the repair mechanics, so that you'd be able to swap out components on ships as they were getting damaged, choose what to repair. Oh, my turret's down, I can repair that internally quickly, so that the time to kill on them will be higher, and that times to kill on smaller ships will be lower, effectively. But that's going to undergo so much balance and change.
Yeah,
there's so many factors in that. I mean, because you can eject from a ship too, right? So on a lot of the fighters, not Drakes necessarily, but your survivability is easier on that. So
yeah. IDD asked, given CR said they were very close on showing the Squadron 42 mission, can CIG afford not to show it on this month's live stream?
Yes, they can afford not to, but why wouldn't they if it's ready?
Yeah. I think that they should. I don't know if they will. I mean,
I don't know if they will, but
I'm confident if they have it ready that they will. But if they don't have it ready and they don't have it up to what Chris Roberts likes, it won't happen. And
I mean, Chris said it perfectly during CitizenCon. He was like, I was really sad that, I forgot what game it was. It's the Drake Fortune or whatever. What the hell was it called?
Uncharted 4.
Uncharted 4. Like he was really waiting for Uncharted 4. And, they said it was going to be delayed, and I was really upset. But then when I played it, it was a fucking great game. It doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah. But it
really doesn't matter.
But
not for that.
I will say to the counter argument on that, though, he's talking about a 6-month delay with Uncharted 4 versus Star Citizen, which is epically different because the conclusions I draw from that is Star Marine, in a lot of people's minds, even though we don't mind,
I think the other thing
year and a half delay.
that is we know how close they were to showing it at CitizenCon.
Yes.
And we know what time frame they were expecting, and Chris, even though Aaron was like, whatever, let's pull the plug on this and focus everything on the PlanetSide demo, we know how close that was for them to be showing that. So I don't think it's an unreasonable expectation to have. We haven't heard whether they are going to show it or not going to show it. It would be something that sounds like they would do to surprise us and be like, oh yeah, it's here you go. And it would be epic and whatever. And for me personally, I am kind of expecting it. That being said, if they don't show it, it's not going to be the end of the world for me. Because at the end of the day, I don't really care about Squadron 42 that much. But I know for some people that may be expecting it is the world to them, I would say don't hold your breath for that one.
Yep.
Hayasi asks, since 2.6 is not out yet, and we don't know when it's going to be released, I've lost my hope for 3.0 at the end of the year. Do you feel the same way I do?
Yes, I do. Yeah. I mean, I don't have any expectation to have it in a year. It might be cool if it hit PTU by the end of the year, but even when it hits PTU, in my mind, it's going to be weeks of testing. It's going to be like 2.0 was. You're going to have weeks and weeks of testing for 3.0 because it's so complicated. It's got so much great stuff in it. It's going to go through a hell of a PTU, I would think, before it goes live.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that there are different teams working on different things. And the thing is we don't know what that is. Now, obviously, earlier we were talking about how Lando asked not only for blockers for 2.6, but also for 3.0, and maybe if and when we get that information, we'll have a better idea. But right now, it's who knows.
I really hope that's what the monthly report is, man.
Yeah, I hope so as well.
Yeah, it's gonna be something to read, this monthly report, definitely.
So I mean, we'll have to wait and see. Uber Nerd asks, did the very technical talk from Frankfurt go too technical, or do you think we need more technical explanations of what they are doing so people who may be questioning the development can begin to understand on just how amazing the breakthroughs they've made are?
I think every now and then it's okay. I think those technical guys typically don't like to be on camera. They probably had to struggle to get him on. I know Brian always talks about the guys in Germany don't want to be on camera. They really just want to work. But we've been seeing a lot more people lately, and I think they realize how important it is. I think it is important. I don't think every show we need this huge technical thing, but every now and then it's not bad.
Every now and then it's nice to see. For the people that are interested in that, it's just like the lore stuff, right? Like, for me, and I know for Twerk, the technical stuff goes over our heads sometimes or whatever. For example, like the lore stuff, I don't care about the lore stuff unless it's going to help me in the game or like whatever, right? But there are people out there who do like it, so I think it still should be included. It is part of that game development process. Or did you fall asleep? Are you still there?
No, I'm just meditating on what you're saying.
Okay.
No, it almost could be another show, right? Like when they do the deeper dive, they could do like a tech talk where it was like even more introspective on that, like a behind the scenes. That would be a whole nother piece of content they could put out there. They could do the light and breezy and then give you the lemon squeezy on the second part.
Yeah.
Be good.
CIA Tyler asks, what are your thoughts on if they announce a release date when the ships that are in a single player, some haven't even began on construction. It would be kind of rushing the production to meet I'm not sure what this question is.
I don't understand that question. Yeah.
We don't know what the production line is for ships for the single player.
Don't know about, yeah.
We just don't know. That I suspect they're probably almost done. But who knows? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, they said every mission is in gray box. Can you assume that every ship is at least in gray box at that point then?
Mm-hmm. I'd think so.
That's involved in the game?
Assets. I'd assume assets, but you don't know. And you don't know when they say grey box, are they still missing objects for ships? Are they still missing doors? And
well, you get a little bit of a clue because it's almost like they release ships to us in the PU as they've made them ready for something in the order that they're ready for both Squadron 42, we assume, and the PU, right? Because there's no other consistency on when we receive a ship. I would assume it's like, hey, we got this done for both Squadron 42 and the persistent universe, so we're gonna give it to you guys now. So that's the only thing that makes sense in the order release.
All about, right?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And same thing with all the Star Marine stuff, because they can't really. I wouldn't think they'd be able to release Squadron 42 if they don't have all the FPS animations, because they said, oh yeah, even though they're separate builds, everything they build doesn't go to waste. It's used in both elements of the games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everything that's going to be in Squadron 42 will be in Star Citizen.
Yeah,
there isn't a need to unify third and first person cameras in Squadron 42.
Nope.
No.
That's the major difference with that.
Yeah, but they've done that already with that unification. I know they're going to be changing some of the third person camera stuff, but yeah, that's like that and the netcode don't matter for Squadron 42.
Yeah, they literally don't matter. So I suspect that a lot of the stuff is a lot easier. That's all that point was.
I think they'll leave the rig unified though. I don't think they're gonna go separate rigs for that, right? Didn't they say that?
I wouldn't imagine.
Yeah, but they won't need to fix errors with the third person rig.
Yeah, absolutely.
They don't need to fix them
from a third person perspective, anyways.
It doesn't matter what your janky character does. If your character's acting janky, no one sees it. Mm-hmm. You don't notice.
Yeah.
It's
it's not like other games where your head's in your chest and you're holding your gun.
But it's fine if it was. That would be totally fine because you wouldn't know. Yeah. Only the NPCs would see you like that and go.
Unless they surprise you and you can go all third camera on Squadron 42 and you can see yourself all the time too.
Well, you will be. That's what I think is you will be able to do that. Going to third person.
Okay.
That way you can play like a Mass Effect mode.
First time you look in a mirror, your head's in your chest.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to cheat anything. No. Our next question's from UberNerd. Do you guys think that we're going to be seeing Procedural Planet Tech version 3 when Star Citizen 3.0 comes out? Do you think that should get 3.0 to citizens? But do you think they should get 3.0 out to citizens before the end of the year, even if they have to do an open PTU like last year with 2.0?
That's the hope, isn't it? I'd hope that it would be out by the end of the year. And I think we'll get a more polished version of the planet system. So than what we've seen so far. But
was 3.0 like when they're bringing in fauna and stuff?
I think so.
So
I don't know
of the tech
get
that we've
V3.
seen
It's been V2.
So all of the tech that we saw at the CitizenCon demo will
V2,
be in 3.0.
Okay.
So tech's not necessarily the same as assets.
Yeah. So, but what they've been showing us is V2, and that's the tech.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So V3, don't know, but it sounds like if they want to do these city planets and stuff, that may be V3.
Cool.
Who knows? Gojira Samurai, it's all based on their internal naming and what they base on, what the difference between V1 and V2 is, and V2 and V3 is, and so on and so forth. Gojira Samurai asks, given it was last second call at CitizenCon to not show the Squadron 42 demo because it wasn't quite there, would you be disappointed? We already answered this.
Yeah.
NS Archer says, hello. Hey guys, thanks again for doing the cast. Always a pleasure to tune in. With the upcoming anniversary sale, are there any items you missed or want to see, i.e. LTI tokens, ship variants, ship packages?
890 jump.
I'm having a hard time with the Reclaimer. Every single time, the last 3 years, the last 3 anniversary sales, I've thought about it, or the last two, and have said no. And this third one, I don't know what I'm not gonna put any more money in for one, but I might melt something for one. I want a reclaimer so bad.
Yeah. I own everything I want.
Yeah, anything I get is going to be for giveaways on the stream. Yeah, that's entirely what I'm looking forward to. So.
Yeah, so those don't really affect.
That's a given. I think they're asking for us for ourselves if we want anything for our own hangers.
Nope.
No.
Dirk could ever ask, what feature in Squadron 42 are you looking forward to the most? The feature where I get to play it.
Yeah.
I guess everybody's on board with me on that one.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like it's a single player game. I guess the cinematics. I'm looking forward to the cinematics where you're still kind of playing the game, but there's a cinematic going on. I think that's going to be cool.
Well, I've been careful not to find out about the story because I know a lot of people said they had the leaked story and all that stuff for Squadron 42. I'm going to enjoy the story, and it's just going to be filler for more PU. I'm going to play it while I'm waiting for more Star Citizen to come out.
I played Wing Commander and Free Space 2 and that sort of game again and again and again and again. For me, it's definitely replayability. It needs replayability. It needs to be addictive enough to be replayable and have lots of different outcomes or things going on.
Nioxin asks, do you think that they should have a roadmap specific to ships to show progress, even if it's ballpark timings, considering these are things we have paid for and don't have yet? I feel like this should be an obligation.
That's a wrong way of looking at what you're paying for.
Yeah.
I do see your point of view. I'm not going to totally
kind of gave a broad precursory one at Citizen.
Well, they used to have that. Once again, this is something they used to have. If you remember, they had a chart that said what ones are in production, what ones aren't, where they are in production, or if they're finished or hangar ready or flight ready. And I don't know if we still have that, because I don't really care about the ships anymore. I'm more worried about the new feature implementations and what is coming immediately in the next patch, personally.
Yeah.
So I don't really follow that, but they used to have that. I don't know if they still do or not.
I mean, it's there, but I don't think they keep up with it.
No. I'm much more interested in the roadmap on game mechanics, like what they laid out and how they're progressing on mechanics and when we're going to start testing those things and all those elements.
Yeah. We're at the point where it's less about the ships and now it's more about the gameplay, which is a really exciting time.
Yeah.
It's frustrating right now because
we want to do stuff with our ships we have. Come on.
Yeah, but we're coming into probably the really, really exciting times of the development of Star Citizen.
Yeah.
So I'm really pumped.
The Game of Pones asks, what black market things do you foresee the Endeavor hope being able to accomplish? Facelifts?
Black market.
That was part of his
Black
question.
market facelifts, I suppose, for people that need to change.
Face changes.
Yeah, well, that's
activity.
I
a whole face-off thing going on there.
That and the whole things where they talked about you could get the mechanical arms or
cybernetics.
Or
yeah.
I've always wanted to have my arms and legs cut off and had metal ones. Oh, of course I'll do that for you, sir. Okay. Don't even need a psych test. Just let them cut them on their own arms
you just
and legs
rip
off.
open the whole of their ship. That'd be kind of awesome, though.
You're just paying someone else in the other room to shoot their limbs off. Now, of course, you can pay to shoot someone else, blow their arms and legs off. Free surgery, boom.
Our next question is from Jamie Trombone. What do you think CIG will do to prevent possibly thousands of players with large ships immediately going bankrupt? All the large ships would need a decent amount of UEC to get going. For example, a Hull D owner might find it hard to get good work when he has little to no reputation. An Orion owner would probably need to buy an asteroid field info if they want to turn a profit. Carrick and Endeavor owners would need a decent amount of money to buy supplies, etc.
I actually watched, it was one of Nikki D'Angelo's podcasts with Ben, one of the Ben's days, and he was actually talking about the fact, somebody had asked a question, what is CIG going to do for those of us who only own a big ship? Like they've upgraded their game package to where they only own an Endeavor. And Ben said, nothing. I mean, you're going to have to work your way up. Everyone needs a small ship. Everybody's got to start somewhere. Because even if you had the money, you have to build a reputation if you want to run missions to get these different level contracts and stuff like that. You're not going to be able to come in and even buy a bunch of UEC
Unless
and say,
you're going to be running it yourself.
This. Yeah, exactly.
I mean you could, like, you don't necessarily need to buy the asteroid information. You could go and find it yourself.
Yeah.
For me, I think there's going to be two different kind of directions that you can go with large ships, and that'll be totally making your own gameplay. So, for the example with the Reclaimer, you'll be able to just go out into the burst, find things to nom on. Go, oh, Rex, salvage, nom nom nom. But also, you'll be able to get those contracts that are kind of almost ship-specific contracts that'll be like, we need you to make use of your Reclaimer, and that will require that reputation. That will require
absolutely
connections and stuff that you'll have to cultivate throughout the game, probably. I'm assuming that, like with the Idris and the capital ships, again there'll be some sort of mechanic like that where you can go out with them, but there also might be missions specifically for those capital ships that get offered to you when you have them. So we don't know how it's going to play out yet because they haven't really talked about exactly how the mission system was working.
Yeah.
But I suspect that you'll have both options. But yeah, everyone will have to start somewhere. You're not going to be able to go, look at my Idris, and people are just going to trust you.
I mean, inherently, they're going to figure out how the game mechanics work. I mean, they might have an idea of what they want to do, but until we test those base mechanics, even with the hand lasers and everything, they might have to change them. I mean, they're going to have. I plan on them doing iterations on like what's going to happen mechanic wise, which will inherently change how the missions and all the other things will work as well. So, a lot of testing ahead of us. But I can't wait to do it.
Lots of feedback.
Pyrochemist asks, any plans for in-game redacted events?
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
I mean, we'll definitely have them.
We just started talking about them this weekend.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it comes down to the game needing to allow it first.
Yeah.
And our ability to organize.
Yes, we've talked quite a bit about that.
And even outside of that, we've started to talk about, I mean, not just redacted events, but redacted hosting community events. I mean, because we want to include as many people as Yeah, we've when I sat down with Twerk and the rest of the content creators from Redacted on what was it, Sunday?
Sunday.
I think this Monday. Yeah, we've talked about doing several different community events, and the main one that we're planning on doing to start with is I'm trying to put together a Extra Life group for a community charity event, and it's not just Redacted. It's not just around any one group, but it's kind of representative of the entire Star Citizen community helping out, and we're going to get all the different levels of streamers, whether you're partnered or you're just starting out and you're interested in helping, or just modding a channel or whatever. If you're interested in helping out for that, we're going to try to get that planned out. And this Friday, I think we said we're going to try to do it between like noon and 4. I'll be available all day Friday for the most part. We're going to try to plan out when people could do this, and I'll have a sign-up sheet with time slots, and it should be the week of the 14th, I believe, the 13th or 14th it is. And we'll be trying to do that event all week long, and it's, again, open to the entire community. And we're just going to see how much money we could raise for the kids, man, just to help out, and I think it'd be badass.
Yep.
Great thing to lead into more content for waiting for the anniversary sale, too, so we'll be doing that. But the other event we started to talk about is we're talking about maybe even holding some bracket tournaments of different types, but as we find out more about when things will be released to facilitate that, that's when we'll dive into that. So we're not going to dive into that until we know we can do it. So, but lots of cool stuff planned, and we're going to try to keep a lot of it community-wide, hosted by our team. So that'd be cool.
Commander Riker asks, with the Polaris showing a pool table in the concept pictures, do you foresee other recreational mini games like poker, target shooting, or something else?
Oh, yes. God, I hope poker. Please, poker.
I think they've talked about that as well.
With
the living rooms with the Retaliator again.
Yeah.
And I do think there's going to be lots of mini games. And again,
well, not only
we'll be able to bet on poker, Twerk. I think that.
Dude, I will not have to leave a ship or a landing zone, wherever it is. I will not have to leave there. I will be the richest fucking person.
The other
in this
place
game.
that there's a pool table as well as the Million Mile High Club.
Yep.
It's that back room.
Yeah.
The Game of Pones asks, do you plan on playing Star Citizen in VR if it is viable? I don't know how viable it's gonna be. If it's
get above 20 FPS, then we'll talk.
No. I think even the gameplay itself, I think, and I've said this before, I think it suits Arena Commander.
Yes, definitely.
And I think that's it.
Getting out of your ship is when it gets weird, right?
Yeah, like the movement and stuff is really weird. Yeah, and I can tell you that from a first-person perspective because I do have this lovely Vive right here.
Yeah.
And that's what the biggest issue is the movement. And there's no way that they're gonna allow teleporting, and I wouldn't want them to, just to let VR players do that because then people would abuse that. And it just doesn't work with an FPS. It just doesn't. So I don't think we're gonna see it outside of Arena Commander, to be honest.
I'd love to try it sometime to see what it's like, but yeah, I couldn't see playing it. I definitely wouldn't stream with it.
Bullsy asks, with 2.6 around the corner, do you think that Star Marine will have a Vandal Swarm style game mode with X waves of NPCs? I would love to play some Star Marine and earn rec while doing it.
I think eventually, yeah.
I think you're still gonna earn rec just like in everything else. You can still earn rec even if it's against other players in Star Marine.
Yeah, rec is the electronic access currency. Yeah. They might change the name of it at some point, but yeah.
But I don't think we're gonna see it in 2.6. I don't think we're gonna see NPC AI. We don't even have them moving around yet, let alone running around and shooting and taking cover and all of that stuff. I don't think that they're ready. I don't think the AI is ready for them to bring in on foot at this point.
Now, if you watch the CitizenCon demo and you see the guy walking on the javelin hole where he's like walking in a line and they pivots and turns, walks in a line, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think that was all scripted character movement.
Yeah.
Commander Riker says, with possible homesteading added, could you please expand a bit about hangars and their use? Are they going to act as an instance home base, as a physical location in the verse? What amenities are you going to have in the hangar? Or will they provide other than planet-side bases or other respawn points?
So your hangars are going to have to kind of be...
They're going to be storage.
They're going to be a physical location, though, right? They're not,
aren't they?
No, they're dead. The hangars, I think, are definitely going to be instance. No?
No, I don't think so.
What the fuck? How are we completely opposite no matter what we talk about?
That's why I love you guys.
No matter what, it's like meant to be.
No, because because the hangars, you won't be able to go into all of them. You'll only be able to go in the ones you have invitations to go into.
So you think it'll be like the habitation rooms at portals
similar.
Okay.
Because I think you're going to be able to store flare and expand your hangars.
Yeah, like that's the thing is you're not only going to be able to store your ships, your flare and whatever other like
your ammunition, I think, all sorts of stuff.
Everything, all your hauling stuff. They've said they want us to be able to go and just store stuff there and wait until it's more valuable to sell it or whatever.
Because wasn't there a thing where you can have multiple hangars on different planets and stuff like that?
You can own multiple,
like way back in the beginning.
Yeah, you'll be able to own multiple hangars, and I mean, it's not like there's gonna be a lack of space for you know what I mean for the hangars and stuff like that. So
yeah, I know in Eve you had infinite space pretty much in your hangar inside wherever you were, but still physical location. So I think that's smart of them because then that means if you move to a different, even if you're a mission runner, you move to a different area, you're gonna have to move all that shit over to the other area to be able to have access to it, or pay somebody to transport out each time you want something.
But I think the main thing that they're going to be used for is yes, or as a respawn point, but also as like storage and everything as well. And there may be some things that you can have in your hangar that you can't put in your ship or something like that have specific things like maybe for the component tuning or whatever that might be in your hangar, and so you need to go back there to do that. Archangel09 says, on the topic of Twerk 17's new HOTAS, have any of you heard anything new on the Star Citizen branded SciTech HOTAS or other branded peripherals? So right now,
at the moment,
it's all in the air. Yep.
Everything's up in the air until we hear something from CIG.
We assume that it's not existing.
Yep. I think it's safe to assume that way, and then if it happens and it's good, it's good. If it happens and it sucks, it sucks. It's just one of those things.
If it doesn't happen, then it doesn't happen.
Yeah, no big deal. You'll get your refunds, I'm sure, on that.
Stufer
on the pre-orders.
Says, with over 1 million Star citizens, how do you think they're going to balance the other factions' armies, especially the Vanduul? There are citizens who are going to be part of essentially small armies of capital ships and such. So I'm wondering how you think they're going to provide those large-scale fight experiences for those big orgs in that Vanduul conflict without the single pilot getting lost or curb stomped.
It's so hard to say right now until we see like kind of what they do with the network code and how it works initially.
Don't know what it's fully capable of. I don't even think they know what it's fully capable of at this point.
Yeah, I think it really comes down to when 3.0 comes out and we get a taste of it. Then I think we can better answer that question. But right now that's so end game, like release, like way down the line stuff. It's so hard to say.
I would think they just scale the engagement based on the fleet you bring, though. I mean, that's just kind of
maybe.
I mean, that's the way it worked in Eve, because everything I know everybody's talked about all these instances and stuff, but
we've talked about this on the podcast before with Matt Sherman and everything. Don't think that just because the mission exists that you're going to be able to beat it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right. So I don't think they're going to scale them to whatever you bring. I think that if you roll up against a small fleet, it's just a small fleet and it's easily taken over. If you happen to be there with a large fleet, you're there just by yourself. Run. It's brutal. Yeah. Or if a large one shows up, then you know, then you know.
Well, I think
recon and scouting is going to be a huge part.
I mean, I don't mean static scaling necessarily. If they want to make one, like say they have a difficulty level of 1 through 10 on different things they generate, if you bring a fleet into an instance area or a section of the universe that has like 6 caps and like this complement of ships, they'll get you small, medium, large engagement type things you could deal with there, you know, compared to what you have.
I don't. That's what I'm saying is I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No. I think
it's going to be a fleet. There's just going to be a fleet there.
If you can deal with it, great. If you can't, then get the fuck out.
Interesting. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. They're not going to... I hope to God they do this, because I don't want hold-handing game mechanics.
No,
I want people to play smart and not think that they can just fight everything.
Fleets, they're going to be on schedules as well. They're going to be on their 24-hour schedules. They're going to need to eat, sleep, drink. They're going to bring in more patrols. They're going to probably call for help if you're fighting a fleet, try and escape. They're not going to be mad. They're going to panic. They've talked about NPCs panicking and stuff. So I'm hoping that you'll see a fleet. You'll be great Vandal fleet there. We can beat that. You'll have to do load of recon. You go, cool. This is a level 4 kind of fleet, which we can definitely take.
Yeah.
And then go, but it might escalate. There might be more ships there. There might be players waiting in the wings. There might.
I was going to say, are they going to allow their player group just to jump on top of you just because it's open in the universe?
I hope so. If they found the location and they did the recon, I hope so.
Because even on
gameplay amazing.
Even on missions on EVE Online, like people always asked how they did that. You go to a mission guy, like with the in the demo from Gamescom they illustrated. They'd spawn it randomly, or they'd put that asset randomly in the space, but you could always probe them down if you wanted to and interrupt their mission. So it wasn't like it was off server somewhere else or anything like that. If you wanted to hunt down people that were trying to do these other objectives or missions, you could do that, depending on what space it was.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Covent Garden Martin asks, refueling in space seems incredibly inefficient compared to going to a station and refueling. You seeing this being actually useful, and how compared going to a station? Well, yes, I see it being useful, because then you don't need to stop or go out of your way. You can take more of a straight line to wherever it is that you're going.
It increases the range of your fleet as well. So
well, not only that, there's... Go ahead. No, you're fine. I was just going to say there's nothing, there might not be stations available where you're at all.
I mean, exactly. Especially if you're exploring and stuff like that. But having starfarers with you, nomming up, creating fuel, reduces your costs for your fleet, increases the range, and increases just general supplies and storage. So it is useful. It's very useful.
Yeah. Elwook asks, what will come first? Star Wars Rogue Squadron, or Rogue One, or whatever it is, or Star Marine?
We don't know.
Wait, when's Rogue One?
December.
Ooh. I don't know. I think it might be really tight.
Probably Star Marine, though.
Is that Star Marine PTU or Star Marine Live?
I count PTU.
Yes.
I count PTU.
You count PTU?
Yeah, like
I'm
hoping
my
PTU that can be streamed and everything.
Yeah, that's what I count when I can stream it.
Oh my god, that's going to be so annoying. 2.6 is going to come out, and we're not going to be able to talk about it or stream it.
I'm not going to have that problem.
I don't have that problem either. I'll stream it the minute I can stream it. It's already lifted NDA, so.
Wants doing Morse code with his eyebrows again.
Yeah.
I'll stream it when I can stream it.
Yeah, Quirk says that, but he'll be totally freaking out, especially on the podcast, being like, "We can't talk about this right now." And
well, we'll see. They need to get better with this.
Did you fart?
Bullshit. No, a little fly flew by my head.
Oh. Aragorn BH asks, do you think it would be better if CIG were to include planet procedural generation updates with the Lore Maker's Guide to the Galaxy series? Currently, the series feels a bit dry, as we usually get one person speaking about the history of a system with a star map in the background. It would be cool to yeah, it would be cool to see the planets though as they're talking about it, if they have the planets ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just gonna have what the planet looks like, even if they don't have it fully fleshed out, get
like fully like later on. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I listen to Lawmaker's Guide anyway, more as a podcast. So.
Yeah, but that would make me more interested in checking it out from someone who doesn't really care about the lore a lot.
Yeah. I just like to look at the shinies.
Watchbear says, do you think the Manu Merchantman and the Reclaimer will be back on sale? And again, congrats to Matochi for the partnership.
Thanks, brother.
Much love to Twerkboard, Matochi, and myself. Well, thanks. Yeah, I think the Manu Merchantman and the Reclaimer will both go back on sale during the anniversary sale.
Yeah.
I mean, if we go by their patterns, that's what they've been doing.
I was gonna say they usually exclude very few ships from that.
Yeah,
if any.
Just the very limited things like the 890 jump, the Idris.
Don't say that. That's the only ship I want.
And all the limited run ships they don't usually include, obviously, but.
Delandarius asks, do you guys think that since next year appears to be the year of gameplay mechanics, CIG will be as open with commodity inclusion in developing those mechanics as we would like? There's been a lot of threads claiming that the studio isn't as quite as open as it was when it was a smaller operation. I've only been around for about a year, but I'm hoping it's more open than what I've seen with many ships that need design changes. Otherwise, we'll have to go back and refactor careers for half a decade.
I don't think that'll be happening.
I hope not. I could see them having like a more solid internal roadmap on how they want mechanics to work. So it might be a little more rigid on how they can adjust things, right? Like maybe they have planned out how mining's going to impact with cargo and all this stuff and all that aspects. But certain aspects I think they'll be really flexible on. Other things I think they have a greater long-term plan for the mechanics. So they'll be like, hey, if we change all this, then it's going to affect everything down the road. So,
yeah.
And only they're going to know that. We're not. So we just kind of take our influence with a grain of salt, I think, on those.
And we have 2 questions remaining. Second last one here is from Pixpew. A ship can be spawned again for insurance costs if it gets destroyed. That's how it is right now.
Right now.
That's not how it's going to stay like that. How about if I steal a ship, set it to go to a certain direction, and then eject, meaning the ship will be destroyed for a long time until it hits invisible end of the universe wall? Will that block someone from spawning his ship again, or can they just respawn it since it gets stolen? It'll be the same thing. It would be the exact same thing. Whether it explodes or gets stolen or someone ghost rides the whip out into the middle of nowhere, you still need to, or you're going to need to put in your insurance claim, and then they're going to need to build that ship unless they have those ships are a certain amount of them already built. And if they don't have it built, then they need to make sure that all the resources available for it to get built. And if they're not, then they put out missions for those resources to get mined and brought in and all of that, and it'll take however long to build those. I don't think right now how it works is not how it's going to be. Is not indicative of what it's going to be like when the game is released.
I look at just like if somebody stole your car in real life, how does that impact you, right? You're going to still file your police report, insurance claim. And what you do, whether you get refunded by your insurance company and go buy another car or whatever, has no bearing on that unless for some reason you hire somebody. Unless you pay somebody to try to recover it. That's the only other aspect I can say. Once you file a claim, it's done. I mean, if that goes, they dump it in the river or whatever else. That's the way that goes. It doesn't matter. So.
And our last question here is from Giran. I currently have many ships like the Orion, Banner Merchantman, and Polaris. I would love to play multiple roles like miner, trader, and I quote this, war guy.
War guy.
But I keep thinking if that's going to be profitable or been a role-focused player 24/7 will be a profitable way to play Star Citizen.
Oh my god. Hey Lola. How you doing?
Would war guy be because this thing just happened.
Yeah. I think anything could be profitable depending on how you implement it. The big influence for me on how I play the game, because obviously my org is Mercs, and our biggest concern is reputation. How does it, if we do something, take a job and it's criminal, how does that impact us? So that means I can't go mine in a safe area, or I can't do this, so until I know the reputation mechanics, that's going to limit what kind of careers or jobs I can or can't do.
Obviously, I think each mechanic, like there's going to be a more profitable mechanic potentially over another one. I feel like it's impossible to balance it perfectly, but I think their goal is going to be for piracy to be just as profitable if done correctly, and if worked hard enough at, as something like, I don't know, mining or trading, which you would think would be like the really profitable ones, right? Mm-hmm. So it just comes down to figuring the mechanics out and their intricacies, because I think these are going to be really elaborate compared to your traditional MMO game mechanics, right? So
the truth is that we don't really know exactly what will be the most profitable thing, and that's why YouTube videos on such subjects exist when the game will come out. People will flock to go, this is the best way to make UEC. And we don't know what that could be. That
the
could
clickbait
be
titles are going to be nuts.
Yes. But it could be wiping vandal like outposts out.
Yep.
Yeah. Because there's special loot there that's worth a load of cash or something. We just don't know. But the idea is that you shouldn't be min-max meta playing with Star Citizen. I mean, loads of people will, obviously.
Absolutely.
Including and even me. I mean, I'm a monster. But the idea is that there's going to be enough randomness and enough intricacy that it's really hard to repeat doing something exactly the same. Mm-hmm. So you won't be able to do the exact same thing constantly with the same level of risk, or that you might get attacked by pirates, or that asteroid's not going to be there next time. You have to find that asteroid in the first place. There's loads of stuff that needs to come together, loads of emergent gameplay that kind of gets chucked to you that makes you decide to do what you're going to do, what asteroid you're going to mine, what gameplay you're going to participate in.
It also depends, like Board's saying there, it depends what area of space you operate in. Because one area, maybe there's huge profits in being a war guy. Whereas another area, it might be a new mining area somebody found, and you can just go crazy and ape on mining and make tons and tons of UEC. So it really depends where you're at in the game and what you're willing to do at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it for our questions here. I want to remind everybody that we are brought to you by Antlion Audio, creators of the Mod Mic, and we also have our shirts up, and they are for sale.
They're on sale.
Point store in chat. It's very reasonable for the shipping, and
especially to other countries too. I couldn't believe it. It's $6 shipping even to fucking Australia.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It almost seems like not real, but no, it's real.
Pretty cool. So
they are real.
All the shirts on both my store and the Redacted store, and if you guys have a store at all,
I'm gonna make one.
Yeah, I got a store.
I'm in the process.
I have one, but I've ordered my Redacted shirts today. So it's like they're on sale. It's like awesome.
Yep. Yeah, I'll be grabbing mine today as well. Mm-hmm. So we do have that. Also, huge thank you to our Patreons, as that does help out not only the podcast, but the website, the team, and everything else that we want to do as well.
Yeah.
I know that we were looking at using a proper program instead of Skype, but once again, that costs money. So any sort of help.
Definitely one of the things we want to work towards. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go through the Patreon maybe next week and start setting the goals and things a little differently. So
Yeah,
we're actually going to have some legit goals, and that will probably be one of the first ones. Is going to a legit conference program instead of Skype, because look at all the shit that we had to deal with today. It was ridiculous.
Absolutely, and your guys' contributions influence how big they can get this podcast up to. So definitely, help the team back that.
Yeah,
it's
man.
Gonna be awesome.
And that goes towards the team in general too. So the website help the team.
Mm-hmm.
Podcast, we obviously want to get more people on, like we did today, in the near future. So this should help all that stuff happening, which would be sweet.
Definitely.
They just have to have sick backgrounds, or else they can't come on.
We do have sick backgrounds.
Yeah, man.
Is
you don't see them.
Background good? Is that what kids say nowadays?
Sick.
Fucking
do I look
dank.
like I'm an expert on
me, bro? All up with this GIFs. And then the GIF memes. Fucking look at this shit, son.
It's hard. I was listening to my double misstep and my hippity hop, and I was banging into some sick tunes.
Soros, what's the Redacted Patreon? Is there a command?
Redacted TV. I don't know if there's a command. It should be just ! Redacted.
The question mark
I'll bring it. I'll put it in.
No, that just has the. I'll have to add that into there because it's not in there. Yeah. But
so is it on the website?
It is on the website. Yeah.
Everybody should just check the website. It's a centralized hub for all the redacted hot information. Check it out.
Oh my god, it's so hot.
So, we'll start with this. Mitochi, where can people find you? And what are you up to over the next week?
I am scrambling, trying to get all my shit together, basically. But, they can find me at twitch.tv/Mitachi. You can also find information on my YouTube there. You can also find, and I'm Mitachi everywhere. If you just type in Mitachi, you'll find me. But Mitachi.com's up too, so you can go to that website and check that out, which will soon be linked. I will have links for Redacted on there as well, and everything else, because it is a centralized hub for all that. Under threat of death. No, it will happen. No, for real, because mine's just for the channel, but Redacted's really got some amazing changes coming to the website, and it's going to be an awesome centralized hub for people to find not only information on the Redacted team, but Star Citizen in general. It's got some cool stuff coming, so you guys definitely need to check that out. And then you can find me every day of the week. I'm currently on day 3 of a 365 broadcast tear that I'm going to do.
God, you're doing one of those.
I'm going to do it, but even on days where I might have family stuff, I'll just come on, pop on, do a little bit, but we're going to touch Twitch every single day to let her know we care about her.
Fuck. Twitch doesn't want you touching it like that.
Too bad. It's happening.
And
I will never do one of those. Torque 17 will never do a 365-day challenge, ever in his life.
I believe that for some reason.
I definitely value my time outside and away from the computer. But no, what I'm up to this week is playing some more Star Citizen. What I'm doing right now after the podcast is getting with my brother. Lots of good feedback from the Sunday meeting on the website, so trying to get those changes, the ball rolling on those changes, and should be really sweet. And then moving in deeper into the website, and then actually, like, once that stuff's done, getting it up and running proper. So I guess that's pretty much it. I'm eating. I don't know. A lot of Star Citizen. Mondays we decided that we're gonna start playing different games. So I'm finishing up Doom. I'm really enjoying Doom. It's just a complete change of pace from everything that I normally play. I wish you were able to show my Halloween costume this past week. I was gray-eyed.
It was beautiful.
I had a great mustache. That's why I don't have a beard right now, because I had to shave everything off. How come Torque isn't on Patreon? I guess one of the things that I've always done was I don't like to have multiple places for people to donate and give money to. If you want to support the stream, there you can subscribe or donate. I will probably have a Game Wisp in the future. That might be something that I set up this week, as well as a t-shirt store. Awesome. I just want to set those things up and just, if you want to do it, you can do it. But I'm going to have to redo my entire bot system, and
we'll help.
It's going to be a hot mess.
It's okay. We'll do it.
Yep.
So yeah. Woo. But yeah, just playing Star Citizen, relaxing. The waiting game like everybody else. That's what I'm up to. And maybe the X56 review might come soon.
Cool.
Right on.
Yeah.
Bord, what are you up to this week? Where can people find you?
So I'm going to be doing some stuff with the GTX 1050. Getting it to run with hopefully Star Citizen. We'll see how good it can perform in Star Citizen. See if it is a viable super budget $200 PC full build choice kind of thing for people on that kind of budget. And I like doing things like that. I like seeing how much we can bleed out of our older tech and more budgeted tech. I'm going to be completing the Titanfall 2 campaign on my stream at some point. I'm going to be checking out Call of Duty Infinite Warfare as well. And then
what day does that come out, Board?
The 4th.
Friday.
Okay, I have to pre-order.
I'm not sure exactly what time it will come out around the world. I'll have a look. I can link you a place where I got my key for like, I think it was $30. So it's pretty cheap.
Nice.
But other than that, it will be everything else will be Star Citizen. Pretty much, it's occasionally games like Infinite Warfare and thing. I want to be able to talk about them because people will compare them to Star Citizen and Squadron 42, even if they're not comparable. So I want to be able to talk about with some form of knowledge and also do a bit of a review because they're big games in our time, well, at least AAA titles in our time. But people can find me on the YouTubes and Twitters and Facebooks, all at BoredGamer UK, and the same for the Twitches as well. And please check my channel out because if you like Star Citizen or you want to know more about Star Citizen
or Animal
things for the Star Citizen of that. Oh God!
Did you get that fixed yet?
I don't know. When Saurus, I'll tell you at the very end of the stream after we find out what Saurus is doing.
Okay.
Because I will look now. What about you, Saurus? What are you up to?
So for me, I'm gonna be streaming right after this. Just playing Star Citizen, waiting for a new patch, shooting people, doing my thing. I've also added some things to our level 3 stuff. So if you, like I said before, if you are level 3 on my channel, make sure to stick around. Or if it's something you're interested in, it'll include the stickers. It includes referral codes and all kinds of cool stuff. But yeah, other than that, you can find me on twitch.tv/WTFosaurus right here, or on twitter.com/WTFosaurus. Once again, make sure to visit our website, redacted.tv. There are some changes being made to that as we speak with Twerk. Same with the shirt store, ! store, or the link below the video, and our Patreon. That's it.
And I'll make some changes to the Patreon as well.
So,
still an animal channel.
Thank you everybody for coming by for another awesome week, and we will see you next Wednesday on Twerk's channel.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.